Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, whenever you hear this video. I'm so excited to be able to come before you 2022 and talk about some of the goals that I have set and some of the goals I want to encourage you to set to have clarity and understanding of where we all need to be. Because it's not a one-man show. We must work together as a team. We must work together as a family. So tonight, I want you to sit back, get comfortable, get your handy dandy notebook, and I want you to take notes. I want you to feel comfortable in this video because I want to provide you some reasonable thoughts that will help you transcend in 2022. So shout out to everyone who's watching and coming in. I'll let everyone chime in. Get your pen and paper because I got some stuff to share. As you can see in the title, we're going to talk about goals for 2022. And of course, the Freedman Bureau Bank Forum, Freedman Bureau, the Freedman people are going to be a lot of conversation in 2022. So I don't want distorted truths that are growing out there to be had. I want them to be understood and I want them to be clarified. So when you get out there and you start discussing on these manners, you're not ignorant to what the real truths are. And you can say, no, I've done my homework. And that's what I like to provide you. Anytime you guys watch my videos, please look in the comments section after the video because you'll see I'll put all the videos and my notes in my information. So I'm not chatting off at the top of my head, that I'm giving you kind of relevant notes and researches to go by. Okay, so let's get started. I want to talk about goals for 2022. And one of the things I was praying because I really believe that prayer provides clarity. So you might want to write that down. Prayer provides clarity. Now, many of you guys may not be Christians watching this and you may not pray. So you may feel I get a little preachy, but just bear with me in this process because I think in order to have balance, you have to have spiritual balance in order to find physical balance. Most cases during the beginning of the year, everybody has a weight loss goal, they have a financial goal, and they have tangible goals of things that they want to acquire within that year. I want to talk about the mental goals that you need to have to work through the duration of all those other things that you may want or seek to have of what I just said. And that mental clarification comes from understanding certain things. So, number one, don't allow other voices that lead from a voice of disposition you. Write that down. Do not allow the voices of other people's disposition to disposition you. And what do I mean by that? And there's a lot of people who speak in this manner, and you may not even be conscious. Listen to what I'm saying. You may not be conscious that they are speaking from a voice of disposition to disposition you, and it's almost subconsciously that they're doing this and you're not doing it. If someone comes to you and they say, hi, my name is Joanne or Barbara or Maria or Tommy or whoever, and you're talking to them, and then they go into this problem scenario that they have or where they come from or what they don't have. My name is Maria and I don't have much, and when I came to this country, or they'll lead from disposition, or they'll start a conversation talking about their problems, and they don't have to be immigrant or illegals. You don't understand. I'm struggling. I have a lot of stress. They're leading from disposition. You have to watch your energy distribution, that you don't receive that energy, but that you're conscious, okay, this person's leading from disposition. And then what I would encourage you to do is to time yourself in that conversation and end it quickly, because you don't need that burden upon you. Now, grant you, we all have sympathy and we have compassion for people who are in need. But number one, I want you to understand, in order to have clarity in your mind of all this stuff goals that you have, or physical or financial goals that you've set, you have to make sure you don't become derailed by the people who have dispositions in your life. Why am I saying that? Because we live in a country where we are bombarded with other people's problems that are going to be growing under this administration. We already saw it with Afghanistan, that are bringing those people into African American communities and white communities in general, and they're able to come in and get benefits that people who live here should be getting it. We already see dispositions with the fact that they're not dealing with the homeless crisis, or the money that is supposed to be acquired to go towards homeless people and homeless situation. That's not being resolved. That's not being fixed. You have people who don't go back to work because they're already getting enough supplement from the government that now everybody's short at hand. So you're gonna be hearing all kind of crises stories, right? And how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? And so the first thing is you have to identify it being spoken to you. And then you have to identify what is the energy that you feel. You're like, oh, what am I feeling? I'm not, you've got to be able to use your senses. You know, if it's the spidey senses, right? The spirit of discernment senses, right? You've got to be able to discern those senses that will push you back because see you're going through these boulders that are pushing you harder and struggling in life when you want to roll through life but you can't roll through life because you've got other dispositions that are pulling you back. So I want to encourage you, the number one is to identify that and then identify the energy flow. Number two, energy. Everybody has different types of energies. If you agree with it, if you don't, if you look and study the book of The Secret, and The Secret talks about that. Have you guys ever looked up that video, The Secret, and the book? It talks about how people's energies can come on you, right? And they'll be negative or they'll be struggled. And the next thing you look up, you focus it on your struggle and you focus it on their struggle. And you had a nice day going. I was happy. What happened? And you don't realize that you weren't conscious of that energy that jumped on you. Dang it. So, again, that disposition of the mind and that energy flow has to be right. That's how you keep that thing in a round movement. That's how you keep it flowing. Because if you want to get finances moving in your life, if you want to have a balance in the teeter totter, you have to understand that there are people who are not going to be lifting you up because they can't. They don't have the same strength and the fortitude that you have because you're able to have a power leverage to keep your feet to the ground and also to keep it moving. Okay. The next thing I want you to think about is just your health conscious. And I say health conscious because as we all get older, and God knows we're all getting older, there's so many ways that I look in this world where people don't cook and people don't eat right and people aren't conscious of how much they're consuming and not consuming. As you get older your hormones change. That's the thing with people that are more my age, is that your hormones are changing, so you may not be saying, well, how am I gaining weight? I'm not eating more or less. Well, your hormones are changing, so you've got to say, what do I need to do? You need to be taking supplements with COVID and the jab they want everybody to get and all this other stuff. You need to think about the supplements that you now to instill in your life. Vitamin D, vitamin Z fights against this COVID situation. I don't care what they say. Get you some vitamin D, get you some vitamin C, get you some black seed oil. Write this down. I told you to have your handy dandy notebook. Get you some vitamin, get you a black seed oil, turkey tail mushrooms. These are things that help build your immune system. Turkey tail mushroom. Yes, I take all this stuff, by the way. And then also CBD oil full strength to help you sleep. CBD oil full strength has all the elements, but it doesn't get you high. It has a little THC, so that's the stuff that gets you high, but it will help you with your anxiety. And that's number three. Your anxiety factors can rise during this administration. We don't know what it may entail. When I hear people say, well, who do you think is going to be next president? And what do you think is going to happen in the Senate? Look, I'm just living day to day. Stop letting people have you think about next year, 4 years down the road. You got to live with the next 3 years of this administration. Gas is already high, cereal is already high, people don't want to go back to work. Again, all the voices of disposition have to be compartmentalized. You deal with it, you compartmentalize it, and you focus on the good things in your life. You watch the energy distribution and then you move forward from there. So, yeah, anxiety is real. So, yes, CBD oil and supplements that you need to be taking every day, every day. The next one I would encourage you to do in 2022 is pray a little bit more. So many times, many of you guys, you're just not praying more. How do you pray? How do I pray, Shirley? I don't know how to pray. It's real easy. Just talk to God. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day, that I have a good day, that I'm not stupid, I'm not dumb, I'm highly intelligent, I can get the job done. For greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. You need to speak life to yourself because ain't nobody love you better than you. And if you don't love you, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. If you're expecting some accolades and some love from strangers and family members, which they may give you, great. But if you don't get that and you don't get it as much as you think you need it, then give it to yourself. To thyself be true. Give it to yourself. Because so many times we're down and then disencouraged. I told you, because you weren't getting your mind straight. You let that man's negative energy pop on you from a voice of disposition, and you weren't ready to shove it off, right? When something happens at work that upsets you, you need to be conscious and say, wait a minute, this is about to shift my energy pattern, and I need to shut it off. So, you have to compartmentalize all of that other stuff to achieve those goals that I set before you. Let me see who's in the chat room. How have you guys been doing these days? Are you tired? Are you excited? I mean, I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of people out there. Dan was the first one to say, "Hey, Shirley, how you doing?" Max, my man, Max. Boy, I love me some Max. And of course, my moderator, love you, my love. You are so wonderful. Amen for that. Sit still and be still, and it's so helpful. Yes, that quiet moment, right? We don't, we talk about, let me tell you, there's a scripture. Let me share something. You said something for me. I want to share with you. There's a scripture in Philippians. And let's see, I should share screen this one. There's a scripture in Philippians that talks about having a still mind. Hold on, let me share this with you guys so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Oh, there we go. Bear with me. Okay, hopefully you can see the script. Okay, so it's Philippians 4:6. Okay, do not be anxious. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Can I make this bigger? Well, hopefully you can see. Okay, here we go. Do not be anxious. This one right here says right here. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situations by prayer and petition. Now, I've also read it where this is the international version. Do not be anxious for nothing, but through prayer and supplication, make your request known unto God. Okay, it says through prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request known unto God. If you don't know how to pray, this is how you do it. Do not be anxious. See, anxiousness can also create an anxiety, right? And we all have these anxieties. We're excited or we're upset. Don't be anxious for nothing, it says. But in your situation, through prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present all requests to God. Now, it also have heard supplication. I've also heard meditation. So I grabbed the word meditation because I like when people say meditate. If we meditate on the Lord or we meditate within ourselves, we need to have a form of meditation. And it says, and the peace of God that transcends us understanding will guide your heart and mind through Christ Jesus, right? So God is here to guide you and transition and help you go through transitions of whatever that you may be going through so that you can have peace. Now, bear with me. I know a lot of you guys ain't Christians, and you say, well, I don't want to hear all this spiritual stuff. But I think the imbalancedness that we all have is that we don't lean to God. We lean to our own understanding. We don't seek the word of God. We don't seek supplication and prayer and peace that this part of the scripture said, because it is important that we have that. But if we're not going to lean on that and we're not going to have the discussion of that, then what good is that? It also goes, and then it talks about, I always love the part that people will say, through prayer and supplication, make a request unto God, and rejoice greatly in the Lord, as in the last renew. This is talking about renewing your mind and renewing your words. And it tells you the things to think of, what is good, what is just, what is holy, what is the good report. That's another part of scriptures. Think upon those things. So many times in life we don't think upon the right things, and those wrong thinkings, let me stop the screen share, those wrong thinkings can flutter us, and we don't need to be fluttered. So through prayer and supplication, Make your request known unto God. What do you want to be able to do that will make that ball move and roll smoother in your life? I want you to roll smoother in your life. For those who just chimed in, please make sure you like and share this video. We're going to talk about two parts. The first part is self-awareness and consciousness of the mind, because I always talk about that and I want you to feel good. Good morning, everyone. Well, thank you. Good morning to you, NC worker. You always come through for me. I appreciate that. You've heard of the secret. See, now the secret might sound old and redundant, but guess what? Guess what, my brother? It's old, but it works. I'm telling you, you have to be conscious of all the negative stuff in your life. Um, we talk about food. I cook my own food. Too many nasty people in restaurants. Girl, boy, girl or boy, I don't know if you're girl or boy. Let me tell you, these people are cooking food and spitting in it. I'm telling you, you need to be conscious of that. You need to be conscious of that, because so many times the medias also play a part. I agree, because they get in your mind and you start watching the news every day and it's so negative, and we don't want to do that. Flagship, how you doing? Flagship, you're more than welcome to come in. I'm gonna probably have to put a share link, but I want to talk a little bit first, and then if anyone wants to come in and make comments about what I'm talking about, please let me know that, because I really want to share that. Um, if we're going to continue to be free mentally, it'll help us be free financially, right? Because what I'm learning that is that when we are free financially, we can do a couple more things. But when we don't allow our minds to be free, to have a goal set of what we want to accomplish, we're always in debt. We're always having other people ask us for money because they see us succeeding, and they put us more in debt because we give in to them. Everybody's got to get out there and get their own, but they have to have a plan. And that plan comes with consciousness. Once you move to that conscious mindset and you get a pattern, can you create patterns? That's like that was the first chapter. I think the second chapter of what I'm thinking for 2022 is, what are your patterns? What do you realize in your life that are patterns that are destructive and divisive, or that you start off one way and you end up another? Because if you don't have a pattern of what you want to do to move forward, then you're not going to get ahead. One of the patterns that I always say, that we live in times where people are moving. Shout out to Cal Texas Homes, who continues to be one of our main sponsors for our videos, where there's a lot of people moving from California to Texas. Your goal might be is in moving. You might realize, you know what, California is too dang expensive. I'm gonna move to Florida, I'm gonna move to Ohio, or I may move to Texas. However your sights are set, you need to make a transition to create new patterns in your life, because many times we don't have those right patterns, right? We have patterns that we realize we start a goal and then we don't finish it. But if we decide to move on, like I said, shout out to our sponsor. I was going to do a sponsor tip, quick, and that this is a great company that is really helping a lot of people be able to have conversations and understand if they should move, maybe they shouldn't move, what should they do, what options are there in it. This company has been really great, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you for letting me do that quick plug. Um, but we've got to find that balance. We got to find that balance in our brand, and the patterns. Sometimes we have really nasty patterns where we start off saying, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna gain some money, and then you just drop it off. I think what the problem is, we don't start with the right mindset. You guys know I fly between California and Texas, and I live in both states, and I go back to both states. And I remember one time I was sitting in my bed in Texas, and I was looking over the land, and I said to myself, you know, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And I thought about, I laid my head down in green pastures, and I just stopped and got quiet. And I looked at Texas, and I just saw all these green pastures, and I thought, pastures are just land. So, when we think about open land, we forget about green pastures, because for those of us who are in the city, who are city kids, we didn't grow up with no open land. We didn't grow up with no green pastures, and that's just not something that we're used to having or seeing. Let me show you what I mean by green pastures. So, when you hear that scripture, many of you guys don't understand that. I know this is ABC, but I want you to understand that sometimes in life we visually don't understand it until we see it. And then when I sat in those green pastures, I was like, oh my God, open green pastures. And you see the open green pastures that are out there, you know, that I'm thinking about the land. Don't look at the article, but just the land that is out there that can really um, make a difference. It's just amazing. It's amazing because when you walk through these lands in Texas, let me show you some green path. See how open that is? See how beautiful that is? When you drive to the south, and that could be South Carolina, that could be Atlanta. It's not just Texas. It could be anywhere. But I want you to realize these open green pasture areas, these vacant land pasture areas, and it says this is what the scripture is talking about. How we lay our head down. We see how peaceful this is. There's a lot of chaos in this world, and we don't have peace. We don't have peace like that. And the reason we don't have peace like that, because we never seen anything like that. So we don't put ourselves in that position like that, which leads to a disposition. So I want to ask you, there's three lines in your life. If you had three situations and you fill in the blanks, because I can't do this, you have to do this to yourself. If you had to think about three blanks in your life, right? And you look at these three blanks in your life, what would be the one, two, three things that you want to do? Anybody care to share that in the chat room? One, two, three things. Like I just told you, for me, is making sure that I have the right mindset. I don't lead from a voice of disposition. I watch other people's energy that come up on me. I don't want their energy. I watch what I eat because of the jab and all that stuff that's out in the air. You need to have supplements. You need to learn the supplements that you need to be taking that can make you a difference in your life. And maybe I might break that down. Those are my three. What are some of your three things that you might be dealing with? Uh, we can't see. No one can see. Okay, can you see now? Hopefully you can see. I don't know. Hopefully you can see. Oh, surely we cannot see. Okay, let's see if I can do the share screen again. I apologize. I don't know why you can't see. Okay, share screen. All right. La 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 la. Let's close that off. Oh no, we don't want that one. Hopefully you can see. This was the green pastures I was talking about. Hopefully you can see. I just want you to see a piece of open land. That's all. So that you can see green open land. Okay. Hopefully you can see that. I stopped it now. So hopefully you can see. Can see the green pasture screen. Okay, now you can see it. Oh, good. Because I wanted you to get a clarification of if you were in green pastures, what does it mean when it says that screen? I lay my head down in green pastures. He restores my soul. We all need our soul restored, right? If you feel like there's this flutterness or this unease, all I'm saying is give God a shot. Give yourself a shot and bring that balancement in there. The blanks are there. The blanks are there. But the question is, are we all individually being able to pull those blanks into our lives and then being able to make a difference in other people's lives? Hold on, I'm going to paste this. Yes. But I want you to see blanks because I want you to understand that those blanks that are right there, those blanks are what you should be filling in. Those are the blanks you need to fill in because once you fill it in, you can have a concrete stand on where you should be in life. Because there's too many other things in your life in your head that are distracting. There's all these things right here, the news, the media, your goals, the target. See, all this is all in your head constantly, right? And then there's these other people, and they've got all this stuff in their head, but it's not flowing. See how this has an up and down flow? Their minds don't flow like that. Their minds all over the place. My question to you, my brothers and sisters, where is your mindset so that you can help save your own people? So last year I told you in your family, when we talk about family, I know this is the white people. So I know white people watch my video. So don't black people talking about, well, you ain't got no black tree. It's a tree, people, with some people on it. Just go with the flow. When we talk about saving ourselves, because that was our goal last year, right in January, I said, save yourself, organize your life, save yourself. Ain't nothing changed. We need to save ourselves. I put the screen, I put the stream in the chat room if anybody wants to come in and talk. If not, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so we need to save ourselves. grant you. Many of you guys took that advice, and many friends privately and said, Shirley, thank you so much. I'm excited because what you have to say is true. But this is the challenge. You have to also save your tree and create your tribe. Write that down. I need to save my tree and write my tribe. Because if we don't save our tree and write our tribe, we can forget it. Patterns, oh my God, no joke. Patterns are maybe habits, both, but they're similar. Yes, it's the same thing. Hello, how you doing, flagship?
Hey, what's up? Well, just one second. I'm sorry. I'm just dealing with technical issues.
That's all right. I'm gonna keep going, and then you can tell me when you want to chime in and start talking. Um, but yeah, absolutely. When we look at patterns that people have, patterns that we all have in our own life, um, we think that we have it under control, but we don't. If you were to write down your goals from last year, they're probably the same ones this year. I want to make money. I want to lose weight. Um, I want to have a better relationship. I want to eat better. None of those things will happen unless you do the following, which I said at the beginning of this video, which is where's your mindset? Because when you have all these people, when they talk to you from a voice of disposition or in California, where everybody's got problems, or they had some family member die of COVID, or the COVID factor. Now, what is the COVID factor? The COVID factor is when people realize they're living with people either they don't like, or they won't want to be married to, or it made them see things in a different light, and they didn't realize those patterns were always there, but they weren't conscious of the fact that it was affecting them. You'd be surprised on a lot of people. The COVID factor played a big part of that, and until we understand that that COVID factor is still out there, and that we have to deal with the dispositions of all this other stuff in our head, we're gonna miss out. We're gonna miss out. If you think about what's that girl, Megan Good and her husband who got a divorce, right? They're getting a divorce. I think they had a COVID factor situation because here's this woman and this man who get on national television talking about they Christians and da 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 da. And then they had to wake up when COVID hit. A lot of people had to realize I got to look at you every day. Do I really know you? Do I really have a relationship with you? It affected a lot of people and celebrities' relationships. Who else got a separation? Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. Taraji P. Henson and her boyfriend. Taraji P. and her boyfriend, maybe he woke up because he's like 38 and she's 51. And then, she ain't gonna have no more kids. And this man ain't don't have no children. And he's engaged to this older woman, but she's a celebrity and she looks young. I'm telling you, that COVID factor played a part of it. Did y'all ever see that video with that woman who said in there, she started talking about trunk instead of Trump? She said, Trunk, listen, y'all gonna have to end this COVID because I can't deal with these kids. I gotta keep going to the weed man. It was a joke. I think she was very serious, but it was a great, funny video.
Yeah, she was serious.
She was serious.
She was serious. Let's be real.
Well, some people have these children and they don't realize what they have. They had little baby kids. They don't read. They bad, and the teacher's been telling you your kid is bad, and he don't listen. But you too busy living your life. Your life just hit you in the face. A lot of people got confronted with life in their face, and so I'm telling you, your goals for 2022 is to look at the man in the mirror and understand the mindset of the people around you, so that you could deal with it and how to deal with it. Flagship, what's your thought on the matter?
Well, I think what COVID also did is made everyone reevaluate themselves, but also reevaluate their situation. Most importantly, the situation with Megan Good and her husband, who's a preacher, that was doomed to beginning. But, in COVID, you can probably fake the funk because you're not around your man all the time. But if you have a lost value system where you have really where your value is anything for the dollar, and you don't really want to give up your acting career and its decadence, and you want to sit there and be married to a preacher and then do sex scenes where you're performing fellatio and cunnilingus on a man, that's not. There's no wife, there's no husband that has a value system that's real that's going to authorize that. So I think what happened was with them, especially with everyone else, that you had to realize, hey, this chick ain't even on my page. After all this time, out of all this smiling and fakeness, she's not on my page, and then could have been vice versa. She could have been like, you know what? I want to do these sex scenes. They're fake anyway, but they're kind of real. But you should be okay with that. This man's never going to be on my page, so it's not going to work out. So I think that it just kind of made everyone just realize their situation and say, hey, this is just not the person who I thought it was. And case in point with myself, there was a friend of mine who I've had a falling out with, which will remain that way. And it was because I didn't realize this. I didn't know this person was this way. And it took COVID and all this stuff to realize this person is just not the person you should have been involved with in the beginning. So make sure these self-evaluations need to occur in order for us to move forward, because this government is getting ready to destroy us. I mean, oh my God, these liberals. If the white folks who are listening only knew what y'all are in for. If you only knew.
No, it's true. And no, we would like to be perceived as happy people. We are struggling people. But I don't think we need to lean to the struggle. I think we need to lean to a plan. And I think that we're dealing with the reverse migration movement within the Black community. Wouldn't you agree? That a lot of Blacks are moving to the middle of the earth, and they're moving back into the South from what they came. And we also have families moving together. You have 3 generations that you can see in this picture right here, where you have the parents, you have the grandchildren, and you have the children. And where before we were always so divided, now we're coming back together because of the reverse migration. That might be part of your goal, is to say, you know what, I talked to my dad and my mom, and the reverse migration is real. What's your thought on that situation?
Well, that might be one place where I kind of I think that it should happen. I think there should be 3 generations in that house when there's young kids, because that's one reason why I was always in check, because my mom and dad paid my grandparents to watch us. So I learned old school stuff from my grandparents. And my young aunties were around, my young uncles were around and stuff like that. So I learned from adults, and then I also learned from my parents, of course. And then I was also around kids because we had a big, huge church. So it was always kids. So I had different generations teaching me the same stuff and different stuff. And you know who does that very well is the Korean community. It is not odd for the grandparents to live in the house with the young kids. Do you see Korean kids acting a damn fool? Never. Even with the whole Korean pop and the whole thing like that, they ain't out there acting a damn fool, because they will get drop kicked easy and locked in the house. So I love 3-generation households. I think the problem is that, especially in our community, the Black community, we've been engineered. That's dumb. We need my space. I need independence. Are you kidding me? When have we ever had independence in our culture? In Africa, didn't have no independence. In the Caribbean and in Brazil, and we never had no independence. All of a sudden, we want independence. All of a sudden, no, bump all that. The power and the wealth comes with dependence upon each other and in unity, not in divide. Individuals don't do anything. Body politics and groups do it all. So,
I totally agree with you. Let me share a video real quick. I think we can break down. It's not too long, so share part of it. Let me get your thought on this one. We get down to the beat, y'all. We get down to the beat, y'all.
Hello and welcome back. In this original Black Excellence presentation,
we can't see it. You have the Black family and covering it.
Oh, thank you so much. Hold on, people. Let me fix this. Okay,
I see your EBT card didn't come through this month. Okay, all right, well, we good.
Yeah, we don't get the EBT no more. I think they stopped that, right?
Right, I know, right?
Okay, so share screen. Hold on, tell me if you see it now. Do you see it now?
Yes, we see it.
Okay, let me try again. Thank you, y'all, for your patience. Make sure you like and share this video and get the thumbs up. We're talking about goals for 2022 and understanding where we are as individuals, but that we need to save ourselves. But now we're going to talk about saving ourselves and our tribe combined.
Black people are fleeing from in the 10 cities they are moving to.
Welcome to blackexcellence.com, the site where we share Black excellence, opulence, and affluence. Our mission is to inspire you as we enlighten you.
In the year 1900, nearly 90% of all Black Americans lived in the South. But for the next 50 years that followed, more than 6 million of them started moving to the North and Midwest, desperate to escape Jim Crow laws and segregation. And they were in search of the other big attraction: jobs. This would form one of the largest migration patterns in U.S. history, called the Great Migration. Fast forward a few decades, and the initial benefits of the Great Migration have given way in most degrees to a stinging failure. The big urban centers have betrayed the Black American, who was simply looking for better opportunities for themselves and their families. Big cities have become the epicenter of crimes and violence, high unemployment rates, deplorable public education systems, lack of affordable housing, skyrocketing rents, corrupt leadership, and urban decay. Better opportunities and lifestyle are the reasons Black Americans left the South at the beginning of the 20th century. And these are the same reasons why Black Americans are returning back and even branching out west. The current pattern that we are now witnessing is a reversal of the Great Migration. We are currently in the age of the Black Exodus. The 2020 census data underscored the Black Exodus and proved that the vast majority of the nation's largest cities with the highest Black population are experiencing a dramatic and steady population decline. Black residents are fleeing these cities, and this trend of sharp population declines is not showing any signs of letting up. In this exclusive Black Excellence presentation, we will highlight, in no particular order, the top 10 cities that Black America is leaving and the top 10 cities that Black residents are moving to. So without further ado, let's get started. The top 10 cities that are feeling the biggest impact of the Black Exodus are: number 1, Chicago. Chicago has been experiencing a Black exodus in recent
Child,
years.
please.
African Americans are leaving for lower housing costs and
Okay, talk to me. People are leaving Chicago. Should people stay in Chicago?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Oh, yeah, no, good. They didn't do Chicago. It's a shithole. And you know why Chicago is garbage? Because what happened was, instead of investing in Chicago, because everyone keeps talking about, the North, and it talks about in the thing that, everyone moved north for jobs. They want to get rid of the Jim Crow. Let me be very, very clear. There is nothing and no one more racist than a liberal Democrat, period.
Oh.
There is no one more violent racist than a damn white liberal. You need to understand that.
No, that's true. I'm trying to see everybody in the chat room while we watch this video. This is true. A real Aaron says, I was born and raised in Chicago, South Side Chicago. Hey, Aaron, you still in Chicago? Let us know in the chat room. I'm going to keep playing. That's number 1. She said number 1 was Chicago. Let's keep listening. I'll stop at number 2.
Safer neighborhoods. Illinois and the Rust Belt has suffered massive losses in the manufacturing sector, causing so many people to leave that Illinois lost a seat in Congress. Number 2, Los Angeles. California's population growth hit a record low over the past decade. Increasingly more people are saying high taxes, high cost of living, and even politics are making them leave. Number 3, Detroit. African Americans are moving to suburban.
Okay, she says Chicago. Let me backtrack back to California. She says Chicago lost a congressional seat. Guess who else has lost a congressional seat?
Illinois and
California. California lost a congressional seat as well. They're losing one as well. And so you guys probably said, what is congressional seats? Okay, so the Census Bureau goes out and they knock on your door and they find if you live there, if you don't live there. Well, they count the number of the people who are in certain districts are down. Now, do California have less people? No, they have more people because they're called illegals. And because the illegals are illegals, they don't count as registered voters unless Democrats get in there and say, well, we're going to allow illegals to vote. But what the Census Bureau does is they don't count them as the residents or real citizens. So that state is losing its voter power, which means they don't get as much money as they are depowered. So I think that's kind of interesting. Hold on, let's keep going. Next one's going to be Detroit.
Politics are making them.
Wait, Shirley, real quick.
3.
Go ahead. Hey, Shirley. In the chat, Tanya Berenson is killing it right now in the chat. She said poor leadership, Lori Lightfoot for Chicago, LA, Garshitty and Gruesome Newsome.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Oh, she's killing right now. All right. And then also it says, M. Sway says Texas, Florida, Tennessee are gaining seats. And the real Aaron Collins said, in between Chicago and LA, I lived in Dallas, Texas.
And also, M. Sway said Malcolm X hated liberals. You got that right.
Well, Shirley, you've known this from way, way back. I mean, I just realized this, like, 5 years ago, but you've been knowing about these liberals since birth.
When you see the dysfunctional actions in your community, and you say, well, how does this all takes place? It's the same team, different names. If they call themselves liberals, if they call themselves Democrats, progressives, all these rewriting of verbiage so that it's a mask in disguise that's destructive for our people. However you may call yourself, you're not one of us, because you're not trying to empower us, and we have to empower ourselves. So when we talk about the migration, the reverse migration, it's because we need to get out of these crazy sub communities. See this community with all this chaos, and you got your child living in some projects. Get out of this area and find the green pastures, which I mentioned earlier. You lay your head down in green pastures so God can restore your soul. Let's keep it going.
Detroit. African Americans are moving to suburban communities with affordable housing and good schools. Many are not finding job opportunities due to the struggling automotive industry and plant closures. Number 4, St. Louis. Part of what's driving Blacks out of the city is the low quality of life. African Americans are looking for better access to schools, better access to job opportunities, and better access to resources. Number 5, Cleveland. Like much of the Midwest, Cleveland's economy is suffering from the massive and traumatic deindustrialization of its manufacturing sector. Many are fleeing for new jobs, and the older population is looking for cheaper places to retire. Number 6, Jackson, Mississippi. Young people in search of high-quality education, high-paying jobs, or more fulfilling lifestyles are leaving Jackson in droves. It is very difficult for them to attract large companies, and thus a challenge to retain their young talent. Number 7, Milwaukee. Many people are choosing to leave Milwaukee because of the burdens of high taxes, small job market, and its brutal winter climate. More and more of its residents are choosing other states with warmer climates
One more thing.
and job opportunities. Number 8, Baltimore.
Yes.
Milwaukee, what they don't tell you about Wisconsin is that in Milwaukee, they build more jails. They have more jails than schools per capita.
They're predators. They're predating after you. That's why I talked about patterns. If you don't plan your life, somebody's going to plan it for you. And if you don't look at 2022 and say, you know what, I live in these ghetto trifle communities, that doesn't go together. But it's the point that I want you to understand that these people aren't in your best interest. They're predating after you. And you have to be conscious to take your family and have a discussion this month at the beginning of the year and say, are we going to stay here, or are we going to look for better communities to move to? Because a lot of Black people are moving to out of state, and they also moving to Africa. Now, you might want to go to Africa, but trust me, there are Black people. One of my nieces live in Africa, and she lives in Tanzania. I watch her all the time. She told her family, I'm moving to Africa, I'm not coming back. And I told her, girl, and I said, come on. She says, no, Aunt, I'm not coming back. And she's nice enough to post, and she's praying, she's meditating, she's getting her body together. I couldn't throw stones at the girl. She showed her apartment. She's looking over, she's over the water. She's learning their language. So I couldn't throw stones at the girl. I had to call and apologize because she's doing well. So for some people, staying in this country ain't a good thing either. But listen to what you just said. Prisons to that capacity. Don't you think they're gonna predate after the people who were living there?
Of course. They ain't gonna put Brad and Tad up in there. They're gonna put your kids and me and my nephew and brother. They're gonna put us up in there. Well, not us for real, because we'll move on their ass.
So keeping it real.
There are quite a few factors driving the population decline in Baltimore. Chief among them are high crime rates, inefficient city government, urban decay, and low economic opportunities. Number 9, New York and Newark. People aren't leaving the Northeast.
Wait, Shirley, real quick. I'm sorry to stop you. Just real quick. I want to say something about Baltimore that pisses me off. Let me tell you something about Baltimore. and how I literally despise the ground that the Baltimore leadership stands on, and the business community. Now, not only is Baltimore, they bring drugs up in there. Black folks who have businesses, they can't even get loans and stuff like that. But if you be Maria Conchita Gonzalez Hernandez and Juan Pepe Luis, you get a grant and a loan and a house and a job and all that kind of stuff. But we can't get nothing for us, right? But then there were these group of kids, these black young boys, like, you know what? Let's just go sell candy. We got to do something, because they knew at a young age that they didn't want to sell drugs. They knew at a young age they still got to make money. The schools are crappy, and they shut down. They said, we're going to go sell water. We're going to go sell taffy. We're going to sell candy and stuff like that. Do you know that they sent the police and arrested them kids? The goal is they have to be ghetto and sell drugs, so then they can get arrested for real and get money that way. They don't want these cities to do well. That's the point.
No, they don't. They don't. I think, you remember, I think last week I talked about how we always say, where's the solution? We don't need to say where's the solution. We need to say where's the conclusion. We need to end this.
Yes, thank you.
Either you're going to fix these cities or I'm out. And obviously you're not going to fix them. In the chat room, love my folks, said Milwaukee has always been a mess. And Sway said Milwaukee has been racist for years. Okay? Just like what you said with that previous state. These places are a mess. They are one big mess. And they are using these immigrants and these foreigners to replace us. Sway said they're looking at Panama. I'm like, okay, honey, I ain't mad at you. I mean, y'all got to at least have some kind of plan.
Well, I got to learn to say Juan Talavera. That's all you got to do. Juan Talavera, you good.
That's what man is talking about. The Latinos are here first. They talk about the Latinos and they were here first when oh no, honey, the Native Americans were here first. Black people probably came prior to that. Come on now. But who matter, who's living now? We can't go back to who was here first, second, or third, because they obviously, everybody's going to claim that they were the superior being. We have to think about where we are now. Look at your now situation and stop letting other people tell you about their situation or lead from a disposition of voice situation. Let's keep going.
It's a number of things. You name it. The high cost of living, lack of affordable housing, poor job growth, high crime rates, poor education systems, and just an overall low quality of life. Number 10, Philadelphia. As part of the tri-state area, Philly is suffering a population decline due to the same reasons as New York and Newark. Black America is leaving for better job opportunities, safer neighborhoods, and lower cost of living. The South and the Southwest now represent the greatest potential for achievement for Black America, and the momentum is evident in sheer numbers. The urban renaissance that was once sweeping the country, resulting in a population boom in these metros, has now come to an end. Today, young Black professionals and middle-class Black families have more resources, flexibility, and mobility to move to the suburbs and different destinations to an extent that previous Black generations could not. And they are looking for cities offering wider career opportunities, larger homes, top-rated education.
Did you say wider career opportunities?
Wider, not whiter.
Lower taxes, and family-friendly neighborhoods. A high quality of life and low cost of living is the constant allure of Black America. But the question is, where are Black residents migrating to? What are these new cities that we are now calling home?
Right.
Number 1, Atlanta, Georgia. The demographics of Georgia are dramatically changing due to the fact that Metro Atlanta.
Okay, so let me stop. So we just talked about the top 5 worst. And I know Big Mad had said, we need to pick out 5 or 6 southern states and flood them. And people are already doing that. And so this video is going to talk about that. We also know that, California has always been the hub of Hollywood. Honey, these people are all moving to Atlanta now. Gavin Newsom and all these other cronies and Democrats have driven Hollywood out of California. So that's a main financial hub for California, is the entertainment industry. But if you're gonna sit back and tax them to death, honey, they're gonna find some other states. And look what Tyler Perry did. He took an armor bank. He took an army a bunker area that was where military people used to be, and he bought all this land, and nobody knew that he was going to transcend this into studios. And so a lot of businesses are moving to Atlanta. Flag, do you have anything you want to say? I'm gonna keep playing.
It's just mind-boggling how these Democrats and these black liberals and black Democrats do not understand that the enemy is the people that they associate with and who they vote for, like this Jim Crow Joe Biden, and how they just don't even fathom how Trump was better for us. I like Trump. You know my issues with him, but the bottom line is I don't want to be friends with my politicians. I want them to be effective. And if we were we were vicariously getting things in our community through all the alleged racism and all that kind of stuff, we were getting stuff for our people. We were getting things done. And the thing is, like, of course, you know, you look at these liberals, you look at these little liberal cities that black folks ride for these Democrats about. But I'm just looking at, because I'm an urban planning major from USC. So I know how we were segregated. And I was just like, what was that thing called that they did in Chicago when the migration happened? And so it was not just redlining, but they also, you know, black people will move into these areas before they even moved up there. These called neighborhood board services in Chicago, and they were led by the president, which was called an alderman at the time. That's where alderman comes from in Chicago. It came from discriminating against us. And so they set up redlining and set all these districts up to where black folks could move. So what happened is you'll move up there, and you have to hurry up and get a job because you were discriminated against. If you were to get housing, it'll be high rent, no city services. But then on top of that, you'll get a low cost interest loan. But then what happened is the speculators have to get their fee. So the thing was, you had to pay more of your income towards bullshit instead of saving, instead of, you know, things for college funds for your kids or something else. You had to pay. You just had to give money away, give money away. And then what will happen will be is that they will you'll pay all these taxes as well, higher taxes, and then you'll have less city services. So it was a scam from the beginning. And this is supposed to be the good liberals. Oh, the liberals, we're here for everybody. Let me tell you something. If someone tells you that, you just ball your fist up and pop them in the mouth, allegedly.
That's true. And even if let's say people may say, oh, Tyler Perry's a liberal. Tyler Perry's a capitalist. Understand that first. When people are capitalists, they can claim any party they want because they're capitalists. They are there to make their money. And like Aaron said, I see you in the chat room, Aaron. He says his studio was made from Confederate land. And I'm sure that, you know, those white people didn't know what he was going to do with that land. And nor did they know in the future how important it was that was formed, because California is a hot mess. It's a hot mess. So you're right, Flagship. If people aren't conscious of detrimental cities and states that are destroying your family, then you might as well just stay out there and die because you ain't got no plan. Or you too busy worried about everybody else. If you don't have the consciousness mindset in 2020 to say, I need to sit and look at my tribe. You remember last year I told you we got to save ourselves. Now you got to save yourself and your tribe, because you know what good is it for us to go and not bring one of our people with us? Because I told you there's a family migration movement. Let's keep moving.
Now, and then another thing too, real quick, because people don't. I know a lot of people that watch the program, though a lot of your white conservatives don't understand the issue that black people are having with the police. Oh, just comply. They're nice people. Okay, let me tell you what was going on back in the day and why the police always stop us going to different neighborhoods. I'm also reading this book, and it's telling it that it's called the Claiborne Park. They had these associations, Claiborne Park Improvement Association, and so it says that if they wanted African Americans to come in for work or whatever like that, they had to be escorted by the police. And the association paid the police to escort you. We were helps. We did cooking and cleaning and yard work. You were escorted. So that's why when you come in, it's like this whole generation where now it's like, oh, call the police. Or what is he doing here? Go check him out, because it's like they weren't escorted. So in order to go to white neighborhood as a white person, as a black person in a white neighborhood, you had to be escorted by the police. So this generationally just kept going on and on and on.
It's true. It's true. There were patterns that were created. So if you know these patterns are now in place, which we all kind of do, right? Then why are you staying in that situation? What makes you think it's going to get better when you see your people being terminated? In California right now, we're down to 3 to 4% black people. I told you, go downtown LA and walk through the shadow of the valley of the shadow of death. You want to know what the valley of the shadow of death is? Go walk down on 6th and San Juan, and then come back in the chat room and tell me, oh my gosh, Shirley, you were so right. Take your ass out there by 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon when all those homeless people are starting to need a place to set up their camps and their tents. You'd be surprised. A lot of people you don't know might be working right next to you because they cannot afford a place to stay. But yet they'll bring in San Juan, like you said, or they'll bring the Afghanistans and place them. Let's see if we can keep going. Hold on.
Migration. Black Americans are migrating from cities like Detroit, New York, and Philadelphia for a better quality of life and a cheaper cost of living. Metro Atlanta experienced a growth of 335,000 new Black residents who moved to the area in the past 10 years. This was an impressive growth spurt of 20% of its African American population. Atlanta's Black population is now over 2 million Black residents for the first time ever. Atlanta's growth is driven by none other than jobs, and it's also a plus when you're Black America's mecca for culture and entertainment. With over 800,000 new residents of all races that moved to the area in the past decade, it's no wonder the A-Town is the 9th largest metro area in the country. Number 2, Houston, Texas. New migration trends show
I like that.
residents are opting out of Western destinations like Los Angeles and San Francisco and are settling into Texas. The Houston metro area saw a growth of almost 213,000 new Black residents who moved to the area since 2010. This represented a stellar 21% jump in the number of additional African Americans who chose to call Houston home, bringing its Black population to over 1.2 million. The Bayou City's economy is strengthened by its job growth in the energy, healthcare, and construction. Houston added more than 1.2 million new residents of all races to its population over the past decade, the third highest growth spurt among all American metros. This helps make H-Town the 5th largest metro area in the country.
What's your thought, Flagship?
Oh, I have family that live in Houston, and they were struggling here in California. They live in like the Jetsons up in Houston.
How do the Jetsons live? Hold on, help me out.
And so they,
you're dating yourself talking about the Jetsons. Jetsons on TV.
I'm a Gen Xer.
Oh, okay. You said the people living like the Jetsons are the
the Jetsons, yeah, because so they lived in California, but this was back in the 80s, but they moved to my aunt was a city councilwoman in Houston for I think like 12 to 15 years. And the family moved there, and they said it's cool. Things are cheap there. A whole lot of Black folk there. Of course, they have their rowdy sections, but everyone got rowdy in their family. But the thing is, there's opportunity there. Black people have businesses there, and there's some form of camaraderie there that's in Houston. From what I heard, the only problem is they have floods and they have hurricanes. So.
No, that's true. So one of the difference, love my folks, Houston versus Dallas. Which is better? I prefer Dallas over Houston. I'm gonna tell you why.
I do too.
Dallas has the Plato area where all the tech communities up there. Dallas weather is more conducive to California weather. Dallas is in the middle of the center of Texas, so you don't get as many mosquitoes. And mosquitoes like Black people better than white people. I'm a testimony. I'm a testify. They like that sweet chocolate in my blood. And so I don't like mosquitoes. And so when I go to Houston, they see me coming. They said, "Can you come to this sweet piece of chocolate?" I said, "Oh, hell no. You better get the hell away from me in the name of Jesus." But they still like to bite me. So anyway, I'm sorry. I migress. But anyway, going back to Dallas. Dallas is in the center of the earth and is not located near the water. Anytime you look at Texas, look at the border of the water, and Flagship is correct. They have more hurricanes and they have more water issue upon the land issues. Otherwise, it's a great state. Texas is a great state. Texas allows you to, that's why we have Cal Texas Homes. It allows you to pay no income tax. Texas allows you have the right to carry. I know I was reading Big Mad was talking about how he says, "Well, I ain't moving because I can carry." So maybe you in Texas, I don't know where you at, But I know in Texas, they have basically said you can open carry now with no license. And people say, oh, it's dangerous. You ain't seeing nobody getting shot and killed on no daily basis like they are in these Chicago and Detroit areas that they mentioned earlier. Now, come on, you see somebody with a gun or you see a Negro with a gun, you're going to look at him twice. But if he ain't bothering you by law, you've got protective rights here. You ain't got them same rights in them other states. California won't let you carry nothing, won't let you do nothing. So why are you in states that marginalize you and don't let you move forward? You need to think about that. Let's keep it moving.
Number 3, Dallas, Texas.
Oh, there we go.
Dallas is a huge benefactor of Black Californians, leaving for more affordable housing and a lower cost of living. The Dallas metro area saw a bounce of almost 256,000 new Black residents who settled into the area in the past 10 years. This represented an incredible 27% increase in the number of additional African Americans who chose to call Dallas home, bringing its Black population to almost 1.2 million people.
Let me tell you something. I registered my car in Dallas because I got a California car and a Texas car. So I had to, now it was in Dallas. I registered it in Texas. But I'm going to tell you, when I registered my car in Texas, it was $75. I walked in and they said, oh, you need to renew it? Boom, I'm done. Go through California, you're going through a whole production. Do you speak English? Do you speak Spanish? A whole production. It is one hell of a show at the DMV in California. These people cut to the chase.
And not only that, you got to pay an arm and a leg for a damn tag. Why does it cost so damn much? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It's like a house note. Oh, your tax this year, $1,300, $1,700 versus $1,300. 75. That I'm telling you, a new car, old car. The older your car goes, the lower your payments are. Texas is $75. Period. 75. Come on now. Why is the DMV such a racket in California? Come on.
Factors for the growth in Dallas include its low unemployment rate and diverse offering of culture, sports teams, arts, and nightlife. There were almost 1.3 million more new residents of all races that moved to Big D since 2010.
Okay, I want you guys, every time this video goes through, you need to read the bottom. Forward, Arlington, Black population, 27%. Black population is 1.1, and total is 7 million. That's huge.
Making it only one of the 3 metro cities in America to add over 1 million. There are several corporations moving their headquarters.
Houses. Oh, man.
Friendly policies and a high number of college graduates. For these reasons, we have to give honorable mention to the cities of Austin and San Antonio, who are also seeing a high influx of new Black residents. They both increased their
Shirley, real quick.
by 26% and 28%.
San Antonio is the sleeper up and coming city in Texas. I was reading about that about San Antonio all day today, to where again, apparently they say San Antonio is like what Austin was in like 1995. It's like what Austin was in 1995, and so it's going to be the new Mecca in like 25, 30 years. Yeah, because it's like the real estate is phenomenal, but really low and really inexpensive. It's upgrading its luxury. It's getting tech. It's getting manufacturing. I think the competitor to Tesla, they're building some kind of electric situation out there.
Tesla and there's a city I can't think of, but Tesla and Facebook own a huge city right near there. It's a little too close to the border for me. And being from California, I ain't got enough of the border people. So, yeah, bro, shout out to San Antonio. But you won't see this Negro there. See how I'm giving you large populations? We are in San Antonio. Don't get it twisted. But for me, you're still too close to that border where they can start digging under the ground. They might pop up in your living room one day. But, anyway, let's keep it moving.
Respectively. Number 4. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Black Americans are leaving Chicago in droves. They are looking for a better quality of life, lower crime, and greater employment opportunities. In the Minneapolis.
I'm sorry. I'm throwing a yellow flag in on this one. Minneapolis. I'm throwing a flag in on this one.
Why?
Don't move here, Black folks. There's an exodus happening in Minneapolis. all those Dwayne, Deontay Wright, the Floyd stuff. I mean, all this stuff is happening in that Minneapolis, Wisconsin area. Now that we have social media, and there's pretty much no black folks in LA no more. In New York, pretty much everyone's leaving there too. Now these little outskirts where they're being targeted is happening in these areas. This place is, everyone I know that lives in Minneapolis say they can't stand it living there. It's crazy. It's worse in the South. That's what they tell me. So.
You know what? I ain't gonna argue with you on that, but this is their opinion. It's not one of my choices either. And then they put down Mississippi. There's a lot of black people buying in Mississippi right now. So when they say Jackson, Mississippi, I have a play brother. He's advancing himself. There's a lot of people being able to buy land real cheap in Mississippi. And so when they said they didn't support Mississippi, they should reverse this, because I know a lot of black people who went to Mississippi and Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here we go.
Land is cheap.
Offering all of these. Over the past 10 years, the Minneapolis-St. Paul area saw a growth spurt of almost 95,000 new black residents who now call the Twin Cities home. This represents a spectacular 39% jump in its African-American population, bringing its black population to over 333,000 people. Minneapolis's economy and job opportunities are far outpacing Chicago's because of its skilled workforce, family-friendly environment, and better education system. This is helping stimulate population growth 3 times faster than the Chicago area, as it can boast of having over 355,000 new residents.
Well, because I can't see a map and I don't know where the states connect in this, is Minneapolis right next to Chicago, Detroit?
It's a drive.
It's a drive difference.
Let me see. Hold on, let me see right now.
Because maybe that's why they're number 4, is because people are leaving Chicago and they're going to Minneapolis, and that's why it's got a strong migration. Because Chicago's so bad that Minneapolis may not be as bad.
It's like 409 miles from each other, and it's like 6 hours.
That's why those numbers are so high. It's such a floodation of people moving out of Chicago in here. But I appreciate when they get here, they, like you said, they be going. They say, okay, this ain't no better either. But anyway the case may be, they still have those high numbers. Let's keep going.
Residents of all races relocate there in the past decade. Number 5, Seattle, Washington. The tech industry
absolutely not.
Market plays a significant role.
You said don't move. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that as well. Seattle's going through a lot right now. They're going through a lot. Seattle, it's going through a lot. They got some areas.
The king and queen of the racist anti-black liberals live in Seattle. All of them live there, literally.
There's a lot of people trying to do good in Seattle. There's some tiny home developers that I know that I adore, and I give them a lot of credit. And
but here's the thing. They're doing tiny homes for all the homeless people that live there. And they're going to go ahead and segregate those homeless people up into the little tiny homes area. And it's going to be the same thing that was in the past. What you doing over here? Stay over there in the little tiny home section where it smells. You see a whole like froth of stank clouds over the tiny home section. That's what they nasty up there. They messy. They do not care about anyone. They sit there and raise the rent for no damn reason. They don't build new housing, and then they want everyone to pay these landlords and Airbnb and Vrbo $35,000 a minute to live in a house. Man, they can go to hell in damn Washington. I hate them people.
Okay, let's keep moving forward. Flag doesn't like this one, you guys.
In Seattle's growth. The Seattle metro area experienced a respectable growth of over 54,000 new black residents who moved in the area in the past 10 years. This represents an impressive 29% jump in the number of African Americans who moved to the Emerald City, bringing its black population to almost 240,000 people. Seattle is one of many.
Wait. Did you read what Real Aaron said? Real Aaron said, he said, Seattle is hell on earth for African Americans.
It is. I'm telling you, Shirley. I live there.
Look, the chat room's all into you, man. He said. Aaron also said, for a matter of whites, the entire city. So there's a lot of people agree with you. I can't argue with you on that one.
It's true. It's worse than you think. I'm pretty sure if Aaron Collins come up, he'll break it down. I can break it down and tell you stories. When I used to live there, when I was prepping to go to war, I was at there was an army base that was there, and that's still there. And so it's gray all the damn time. I wore burgundy. I went to graduate from I graduated from USC, so I wore burgundy. My cardinal and gold shirt. I was the brightest thing outside. It was just gray and gloomy and weird, and everyone just looked kind of clammy and just, gosh.
Well, Mr. Enable, and forgive me, I know I might be pronouncing your name wrong, but Mr. Enable said, the weather is also really bad and it causes depression in Seattle. And so that is so true because it has this dreary weather that also can affect your mood and your attitude. It's so true.
Mm-hmm. It's always raining or misting, always, all the damn time. But everything's really green and beautiful, and the water is really clean, though. You will never have a water problem ever.
West, who saw particularly strong Black population growth as African Americans are leaving Midwest cities like Chicago and Northeast cities in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. But this trend is for all races, as Seattle was able to increase its overall population with 580,000 new residents relocating there since 2010. Number 6, Las Vegas, Nevada. Low housing costs compared with much of California, no state income tax, and year-round sunshine make Southern Nevada an idyllic place for Black Americans to call home. The Las Vegas metro area grew.
Okay, I'm gonna put a red flag on this one. I don't say.
I was waiting for you.
Seattle and Vegas is right next to each other. Black people don't move there. This is a crazy town to live in. They have addictions. They have drug addictions. They have gambling addictions. You can't get ahead in life. There's no land to really buy. It's very expensive. We need to go in areas where we can grow businesses and buy and what does that say? Bargain. I always talk about bartering with each other. You can't do that in Vegas. You can't do that in Vegas. I'm sorry.
And also the obvious, it's Africa heat up in there. It is straight. You see gazelles being eaten by tigers. I mean, you can't even walk down the street without seeing hippopotamuses drinking from the aquifers. It is Africa up in there, just hot all the damn time.
What are you talking about? Octopuses.
I'm saying it's hot in It's hot in Vegas. It's Africa heat up in Vegas.
Yeah, it is hot in Vegas. And when you're hot like that, it's really hard to have clarity in your mind because we all know when heat hits you and them heat strokes starting to hit you, you need to get out of that heat. But the South is hot too. I'm not going to beat up the weather. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not going to say the weather. I'm going to say the fact that it's just too busy. You can't have busyness of the mind. You need to be in areas where your mind has a clarity and is clean and is open. If you go to Vegas or even Seattle, like you said, on top of the heat, you don't have the clarity of the mind. So no, those are two areas I would not say that people should take their families to. They got that wrong. I don't care what the numbers are. I don't care how many Black people are moving, because a lot of Black people moved from California and they went up north. They went to Seattle and they went to Vegas. But then a lot of those people who did that are now moving to the South. We are encouraging you guys to focus more towards the South. Go focus towards areas that are not controlled by liberal progressives like, Vegas and Cali and Seattle, because they are the liberals' best mess in the
Minnesota.
World. Oh my God! Please, in Minnesota.
Its Black population by more than 80,000 new residents over the past 10 years.
Red flag.
The fact that Las Vegas has the highest Black population growth rate of all the metros on this list came as a complete surprise to us. Las Vegas experienced a 41% jump in the number of African Americans who now call the casino capital.
Sway says, he says, what do you say, Nevada has some of the dumbest people on the world. You wrong. He said some dumb people living in Vegas. I don't know. I think they're more zombie-ish, like the people that work in those casinos or some of those older shows I remember you to go to. They got so used to being so like, I got to do this show that there was no life in them. It's got that vampire drain thing going on. Vegas is not good for your family or for your child or for teenagers. It's not a good place.
Yep.
It's not a family state. I'm sorry, or city.
Home,
Nevada.
bringing its total Black population to over 275,000 people. Las Vegas, being the gambling capital of the world with its ever-growing tourism industry, provides an abundance of jobs for Black residents moving out of California. Sin City is one of the fastest-growing cities in America and added almost 315,000 new residents to its population in the past decade. Number 7, Orlando, Florida. Orlando's growth rate is one of the fastest.
I agree with this one too.
U.S. cities, and the Orlando region is welcoming more than 1,000 new residents a week. Black residents migrating to Orlando are young and college educated. A large segment of them are coming down from Detroit, New York, New Jersey, and slow growth states. The Orlando metro area saw a growth spurt of 67,000 new Black residents move to the area in the past 10 years. That represents an impressive 21% bounce of new African Americans who have moved to O-Town, bringing its Black population to over 385,000 people. What may be surprising is that these are not just snowbirds from the Northeast. Almost half of Orlando's new residents are working age and diverse, giving
Orlando. They're saying the next president could become the governor of Florida. So Florida has a lot of tax benefits. Florida has a lot of housing growth opportunities, and you will be surprised how so many people, not only Black, but white, are moving to Florida as well.
Yeah, Florida is there's opportunity there, but I hope if you do go there, you go there with a mission, because you can easily get caught up in the wrong stuff too. So
I agree with you, because talking about Kissimmee. Kissimmee is where Disney World and Epcot is, and so you're talking about well built up metropolitan areas. I think that what me and Flagship are trying to tell you to do, you need to go where you get some land. You need to go where you own you some land, or you around more of your people that could hire you. When you're in metropolitan areas where Black people hire Black people, and they're not so discriminating, they want to see you do well. Those are the kind of people you want to find kindred spirits. Like I told you, we talked about saving yourself. You're talking about saving your tribe. Put your tribe around people who want you to thrive. If you're around people that don't want you to do well, or look at you as competition, or they become your competition, you don't need them people in your life.
Nope.
You don't need those people in your life. And so if you're not identifying, they come from a point of what I said at the beginning of this video, of a point of disposition. I hope you all taking notes and all this stuff we're sharing, because if you're not conscious that there are people out to not see you do well, that they are plotting against you, or they're saying things to dismantle you, then you got issues. Because you need to be conscious that if you're moving forward and you're succeeding, you can't share all that information. You can't even share the fact that you might be getting ready to do what we're talking about. You looking at moving, they're gonna be people not happy for you. They're gonna try to throw a wrench in your agenda. Stay true to who you are and to your agenda. Florida is a plus, so it's almost done. Let's keep going.
Orlando, one of the youngest median ages in the state. Over 538,000 new residents of all races have moved to Orlando in the past decade, making it one of America's fastest growing cities. Number 8, Phoenix, Arizona. Arizona's desert capital.
Red flag.
Its rate among all.
Okay, listen, I'm listening. Go ahead. Why?
Oh. Okay, so you have Phoenix area. There's really not that many jobs that's there. And don't get it straight set twisted. I do believe there was some shenanigans going on with the voting situation in Phoenix Metro, but don't get it twisted. It has been taken over by Maria Conchita Gonzalez Hernandez, Juan Pepper Luis. It's over. It's already gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's over. I think I think I was there like 2 years ago, it was already the people were just speaking Spanish in the beginning, and then I was like, I don't speak Spanish, and it's like, oh, you don't? Oh, okay. It's you know how you are when you go to France. Oh, you don't speak French? I was like, oh, you don't speak Spanish? Like, no, I do not. So it's already like that. This is no. Do not move here. Don't even move here. Don't even waste your time. We can just skip this one.
This is how I feel about Seattle, because I had a friend who had some businesses and she was Black, and she said they were very racist, and that was about maybe 15 years ago. Arizona's too close to California for me. So Arizona still has a lot of liberal issues, but there's a lot of conservatives who have moved to Arizona, and they are doing great and they're loving it and they're thriving, but they're my white friends. So I don't know as far as where blacks are with Arizona. I would
There it
not
is.
choose Arizona. Again, when you get in these cities that are busy, like you see this picture right here, you need to get to open lands and open opportunities. I'm telling you how to start a new generational wealth line. You can't start new generational wealth lines that continue when you're in areas like these because you can't afford them. So just keep that in
Exactly.
mind. That's all we're saying.
All America's biggest cities, vaulting it ahead of Philadelphia to officially become the 5th biggest city in the United States. Middle-class Black families from California.
Real quick, see, I told you families from California moving in. Aaron, I want to say something. Aaron, I can't let you in because we're in the middle of the video. When this video ends, I'll put the stream back in the chat room so you can talk. And shout out to Pam, I am jamming. I love you, my sister. You are so brilliant. Thank you for chiming in. Let's keep going.
And other more expensive parts of the country are finding Phoenix highly attractive due to its affordable housing.
Yeah,
The Phoenix metro area saw a growth of over 72,000 new Black residents who moved to the area in the past.
Too many liberals.
Phoenix experienced a scorching 37% increase in the number of African Americans who now call Valley of Sun
they have the worst.
Bringing its
Okay, I still think they have worse humidity than Florida. We got stuck on a flight, me and my kids, and we had to have a layover in Arizona. And that humidity hit us so hard, we couldn't even talk. We just looked at each other like, what the heck is this? Honey, the humidity in Arizona ain't no joke.
And then also I was in there just recently. I think I told you when I went to my niece's graduation in Georgia, I had a stop layover in Phoenix. The airport had no there was no Applebee's. I mean, can I get some mozzarella sticks on my transfer, please? It was like literally everything was closed. Closed. There was just one McDonald's and they had everything done. You could even use the kiosk. They don't even have kiosks. You had to download the app and order some food.
Oh, crazy. No. Yeah, I hate when they tell you to download or look on your phone to read the menu. I'm buying food here. Bring me something I can touch and feel. I'm not doing that. That's a red flag. Let's keep going.
Population to almost 266,000 people. Also known as Buckeye, the city expects to remain a high-growth community fueled not just by immigration and sun-seeking retirees, but also by the arrival of tech companies.
And we said that you
lost added more than 653,000 new residents over the past decade. Number 9, Columbus, Ohio. Kudos to Columbus.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, that's a ding, ding. I agree. I think this one's a good one. Why are you so excited with your ding ding butt?
Well, I told you I've been studying Ohio for the last year. Also, there people in but they took the billboards down because they don't want more Californians moving there. But they were advertising people to move to Ohio, because they're having a tech sector boom right now. They're having manufacturing boom up in there now. I think one of the some battery plants and some cell phone plants are going to be starting up in there. Starting up in there. They have the Ohio State University, which is even though it's a good football school, but they are phenomenal. It's a top 50 public university where they do pump out, really great, talented people, bachelor's and master's degrees. You also have, University of Cincinnati is close by. They have, you have the Cleveland clinics, which is like the best medical facilities. There's like sheikhs and presidents that go to the Cleveland Clinic for their surgeries. And so they have like branches all throughout. Also, Ohio State Medical Center is good there. So there's jobs there. The pay is a little bit less than California, but you have the cost of living, which is a lot less than California.
Cost of living is huge, and the cost of food is cheap. I have a lot of friends who have moved to Ohio. Absolutely. You're right on point with Ohio. Ohio is the place to go.
And then also you can get your master's degree and for like $4,000 a year. So, you ain't got to be all up in debt, $35 million and stuff like that. So I think this should be number one for Black folks, honestly, Shirley. You know me. I mean, Texas would be number one, but Ohio is what Texas was in 1980.
Right. But Texas also has no income tax. And so I like that. So no matter what you bring in, you working for yourself. And I like open land, and Texas has more open land than Ohio. Ohio's more developed than Texas.
But you got lakefront property in Ohio, though.
That's true too. I mean, it's a yin and yang. For me, I can get back and forth to California faster because I still have business in California, so the flights are much cheaper. So it just depends on what works for you.
Makes a surprising appearance on this list. Columbus is the new Midwestern star, the second biggest city in the Midwest behind Chicago. As African Americans are fleeing the latter, along with their exodus from nearby Cleveland, Detroit, St. Louis, and other slow-growing metros in the Midwest states, they are looking for alternatives offering high quality of life, an array of urban amenities, and affordable housing. Given its advantages in these areas, Columbus has been able to fulfill the need of an additional 60,000 new Black residents who have moved to the area in the past 10 years. This represents an eye-opening 22% increase in African Americans who moved to the Discovery City, bringing its Black population to over 330,000 people. Columbus has been able to excel despite decades of deindustrialization that has handicapped the rest of the Midwest. For this reason, it has been able to add almost 237,000 new residents of all races to its population in the past decade. Number 10, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wait, Shirley, real quick. The chat. What's it called? Killed me. M. Sway said, Ohio, who's moving to the cold? Hey, get your fur, yo. It's opportunity. It's about opportunity. Bump that cold stuff. Get yourself a nice, flannel. Get you some well, people already have probably Timberlands, and get yourself a fur. Let's go.
Now, the next one they're saying is North Carolina. What's your thought on that one?
Hasn't this Charlotte been the Mecca forever and a day, and still there ain't nobody popping out of Charlotte? I'm sorry, I'm done with these antebellum. I mean, these antebellum slave states. I'm just really, Charlotte. Come on now.
Colleges, ease of living, and relatively low costs compared to larger metro areas are what attracts many African Americans to Charlotte. As Black Americans migrate from New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Detroit, they may not want to go as far south as Florida, and Atlanta is just not their vibe. So the cosmopolitan of Charlotte is a great compromise and midway point. Charlotte has become the new home of almost 83,000 Black residents over the past 10 years. This represents a respectable 17% increase in the number of African Americans who moved to the Charlotte area, bringing its Black population to over 572,000 people. Charlotte's sense of community makes it an excellent place for any business, family, or individual to call home. And a magnet for young professionals.
Well, Big Money has a good point. He says Charlotte is a tech mega. And there's a lot of tech people. Every state said they're the tech mega. Don't think about it. California says they're the tech mega. Texas is saying Austin and Plato's the tech. Everybody wants to say that they want to be the next tech mega. Right now, California is still the leading hub, right? But I agree with Flagship when he said there's those states in Texas is going to be the one. Let me tell you why. Because they were able to acquire some cities. I'm not going to go do video research to show y'all, but look it up. Facebook bought this whole little city. I can't think of the name. I think it starts with an A, Abba something. And Tesla's already fighting with people online, Elon Musk with their BS in California. So, Texas is, to me, where everybody's going to be transitioning because it's just so close to California. And the weather is so conducive to California that I believe they're going to move there. But technology has allowed us all to work from wherever we want to live. And with, like I told you, family migration and this removement of moving people from one area to another, you're going to find out that people can really choose and live and breathe wherever they want to. What we're trying to encourage many of you is to invest in a state that will allow you to expand yourself from owning land, or if you are a business owner, or people that would barter with you. We're helping you pick states where you're able to relate to the community. There's a couple of red flags, and me and Flagship are bringing them up to you. Look, this is kind of a little red flag. We don't really care for the state. But even though we don't care for it, there's other people that do. This is why we're giving you our opinion on what we like versus what they like. We're towards the end of this video. Let's finish it out.
Queen City has attracted over 416,000 new residents of all races to its population in the past decade.
We appreciate the fact that you stayed with us until the end. Thank you for spending time with us, and don't forget to like this video.
All right, I like
But Shirley, we have to ask the question, what are cities that they missed?
Yeah, that's the question we have to ask. Let's ask the chat room. So chat room,
Okay.
what do you think? What are the cities that they missed? What do you think, Flagship? What are the cities that they might have missed?
Well, do you want me to go before or after the chat?
No, go now, and then I'll start looking for them in the chat.
I think the cities that they missed was Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, I agree.
I also think that Jacksonville, Florida was missed. Jacksonville, Tampa, like that little region right there. They got Orlando up in there, but they also got, I think Tampa and also Jacksonville as well was missed. I also think that, where's that city?
I agree. I think they missed Katy, Texas. Someone said Real Finances at Katy, Texas. I think they missed Alabama. I think people are underestimating the opportunity of purchase of land. Again, land is God's goal. They ain't making more of it. Okay, you can always make more hamburgers and fries, and you can always make more people, but you ain't making much more land. Jackson, Mississippi. I agree with that. They kind of put Mississippi earlier in the video. They weren't a supporter of Mississippi. I disagree with them. I think Mississippi and Alabama, Texas, Ohio, Tennessee, Florida, those would be our states. What other states? I know you're looking them up that we need to think about. Again,
I only have like a couple of more. The other one was, ironically enough, Anchorage, Alaska.
Why?
Yeah, because the thing is, there's a lot of black people that do move up there. Ironically enough, there's economic opportunity with the ports, with trade, with transport, with they make a lot of they have a lot of government contracts, like making ships up there, planes up there. I mean, it's people don't know this about Anchorage, Alaska. They make a lot of stuff up there in Alaska. And so I think that's and every black person that goes up there, they never return.
I'm looking at Real Aaron. Real Aaron is talking about how they miss New Orleans. I'm not a big New Orleans fan.
No, they did not miss New Orleans.
No, they didn't miss that. I disagree.
Hey, Aaron Collins, you my boy and everything, but we gotta give you a red flag on that one.
Now we might, Tennessee, we agree with you, but
right.
No, I'm sorry, they're missing. You said New Orleans.
Well, the thing that's happening in Nashville is the same.
Okay, so he said they're leaving. To leave. Okay, all right. So he's saying that to leave. So we agree with that one.
The same reasons why Columbus, Ohio is fantastic is the same reason why Nashville is fantastic. Well, because they're having, Amazon is moving there for real. That's going to be like one of their major hubs.
Where's Amazon moving?
They're moving to Nashville, Tennessee, and they're going to connect with with the engineering school with Vanderbilt. And I think that not Elon Musk, but what's his name? I think it was either Amazon or Jeff Bezos. They donated $1 billion to their engineering school because they want to build more facilities for research and development for the new technology. So, yeah, so if there's some black families that are here watching, your kids need to be off the dang video games. Maybe in a dang coding session, learning how to code so they can get their behind up in Vanderbilt. Harvard, all those Ivy, and the reason why Vanderbilt was built is the same reason why Stanford was built, because they wanted to be Ivy League schools, and they were kind of kicked out of the blue-blooded aristocratic elite. They're like, no, we don't want you in our club. So they said, well, fine, I'll go make my own. So then Vanderbilt, of course, he was a shipping giant. He made his own school in Nashville, and then Leland, Stanford. Okay, fine, I'll go build on the West Coast. And guess what? They're just up there with all the Ivies. So,
Sway said the whole state of Louisiana. We didn't mention Louisiana. I think Louisiana's a good pick. I agree.
What?
Oh, no, I think Louisiana's a good pick. There's some good people in Louisiana, not New Orleans, but there's some other parts of Louisiana that you may want to look into? I know
You
some
listen to
people in
Jason
Baton
Black.
Rouge are doing really well.
Jason Black be killing Louisiana. He's like, he's from Shreveport.
So he said no.
So yeah, it's
What about
hilarious.
Kentucky?
I think Kentucky is an agricultural center. So if you're into, they definitely have land. They definitely have agriculture. If you're a farmer, they definitely have land, and it's real close to New York. That's all those Kentucky basketball teams. Where do you think they got those basketball players from? They went right up there in New York and threw some extra EBT cards and got them cats to go and play in Kentucky.
Is that how they got them to play? I put the link in the chat room for those who want to come in. That's too funny. They're gonna put the EBT card. You funny. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sway said, Shirley, I meant to stay away from Louisiana. Okay, stay.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, you said, why do you agree? That's my daddy's home state. Why do you say that?
Louisiana is whack. Let me tell you something. We're not black enough for Louisiana. Let me just be honest with you, Shirley. Oh. We're not black enough for Louisiana. We just got to let them do their thing. I remember going down there. This was in 2000. I wanted to go because I was in junior college at the time after I got out of the military, and I was thinking about going to Grambling or Southern. So went down there, and it was just like it was very different, and it just didn't seem like there was. I'm just gonna be quiet. It was just different. I don't think it was. It's not my spot. It's not my spot.
Well, whatever your spot may be, let me do a quick commercial break. Make sure that you go to Cal Texas Homes. For those who want to move, you don't have to be moving to Texas. You might move to any of the places that we recommended, which was Arizona. No, not Arizona. I'm sorry. Ohio, Texas, Tennessee. These are states that we find to be a benefit for our people. But definitely California has become so expensive and such a state of immigrants and illegals that we are being detrimentally torn apart. Get your ass and your family and your grandparents and move out of California and learn about other states, not only Texas, but Cal Texas Homes can help you through that transition. So make sure that you go to the website, sign up, and learn about the transitions and opportunities. And we'll have one of our one-on-one consultants and anybody within those states. I'm a licensed realtor for the state of California. Somebody has to ask in the chat room, but I'm also a real estate developer in Texas. So I try to hook you up with people that are kindred spirits to the movement that we constantly talk about. But if we don't give ourselves a chance and say, well, what should I do? What's my next step? I like to give you steps and opportunity, and then you can make those final decisions. It's interesting, Flagship, because we're in a situation right now in our country where if you're not conscious and thinking forward, someone is thinking for you. And right now, the Biden administration is having other people and other cultures priority. Why do Black people not have themselves as a priority?
Because it's all about the conditioning. They're watching CNN all day. They're being conditioned to not look at our own situation. We as Black people, we have helped everybody 35,000 million times over. And it's our turn. It's okay for us to have clean water. It's okay for us to have a little bit of money in our pockets. It's okay for us to have a little bit of security. But it's going to take some exclusivity and some love for oneself in order to do that. One thing I'm looking at right now is this website called Smart Assets, and it talks about percentages of business owners who are Black. And I'm looking at these states where Black people were these alleged Black meccas, and the percentages of businesses that are owned by Black are less than 5%. The highest one is in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia at 5.37. So in Richmond, Virginia, which was a slave port where slaves were dropped off, juxtapose that to now, present times, we only own 5.37% of those businesses. That's ridiculous. Durham, 4.7. Remember, Durham and Raleigh-Durham was a place where of course, it was all taken away from us, as long as Wilmington and all that kind of stuff. We built all these businesses and stuff like there, and insurance companies there, and this all got taken away. But now after that, we're only at 4.7. That's not gonna be. That ain't no money. That's no money. We got work to do.
We definitely have work to do. I apologize, people. I was getting kicked out of my own stream. Hey, let me welcome some people real quick. Real Deal Finances and the real Aaron Collins is in the family in the chat tonight. Real Deal. Let's start with you. Finances. Well, what's your thoughts, brother, on what we talked about tonight about the reverse migration movement and our goals for 2022?
Well, I'm gonna be one of them that's pretty much coming through as well. Some coming down as well. So, uh, Houston, here we come. Shit, really, it's gonna be the Woodlands. And when they said Atlanta, Georgia, I think they're talking about Alpharetta because I also do real estate on my channel, and I also do real estate in real life. And a lot of the deals that I help, pretty much people like you, developers, is literally in the range of tax liens or somebody that has literally uh, how can I say, back delinquencies, and there are literally neighborhoods at 800,000 that people can get for 275, 300 if they're in a real tough spot.
Oh,
So those cash offers, the we buy houses model, that's literally situation that helped my clients get some wholesale checks and also get some discounted properties. And not to tell all of my business, me and a couple of guys in New York, we're trying to get some situations going where people can get up to them Bronx properties because the Bronx is like the last cheapest spot for New York. Black people that had brownstones and kept those brownstones that were 8,000 to now $2-3 million, five. Those are the smarter ones when it comes to, um, the actual buy and hold scenario. So I'm agreeing with everybody. I think people should be able to focus on what is the scenario of hot markets. Um, Aaron Collins, he pretty much is a subscriber on my channel. He can pretty much see that everything that I talk about is literally in the range of actionable strategies, business credit, how to be able to leverage people, negotiate, networking on certain aspects and getting in between of deals. Because, you know, um, this administration, the only thing their focus is pretty much everybody else but us.
right.
So lithium stocks, get on it. Uranium stocks, I told people about that on my channel like 6 months ago, and that shit has been high at 120% in the last 90 days.
Mm.
So, uh, you know, people should look at these executive orders and try to figure out where the money is going, at least publicly.
And you're saying what I said earlier is we focus on our own now, right? Like, see how you're speaking about things that are relevant within the
Yes,
next
ma'am.
3 to 6 months. That's how we need to think in those time frames and having the mind consciousness of the now. Those who are involved in politics, like myself, every time people come to me, they think, "Well, what do you think is going to be the next president?" I'm not worrying about the next president. Neither should you. They should be listening to brothers like you and all the ones right now on this channel who are trying to make them more relevant of today's actions and today's times. Why do you think people always want tomorrow to be better versus dealing with now? Real deal.
People like sensationalism, man. People, the old adage of, boy, you know every single cartoon on the TV, but you can't get the homework done. Same
Mm.
thing that applies when it comes to regular adults. I noticed that because I have clients that, repairing credit, that has to be one of the most hardest things I would say possible when it comes to the financial services realm. Because one, people have like delinquencies of bankruptcies, which that is very hard to scrub off. People have child support that needs to be reversed. A lot of child support, a lot of my trucker guys, they shout out to y'all. They have a lot of situations where their owner operators making good income, but the child support is eating their asses up.
City of Truth 991 says, I'm going to set up a trucking company in Vegas.
He's already plugged in with me. Me and him already talked behind the scenes, so he already plugged in. So
I can't
everybody,
I can't complain about that because my nephew's also out of Atlanta doing real estate, and he was talking about because of the shipping situation, he knows truckers who are making up to 70 to 50,000 a month. I'm like, what? Yeah, they rolling like that.
So yes, medical stocks does rise up every 3 months. I told people about the situation of literally getting to the biotech 3X Direxion bear, well bull, and also getting on to China bear. Also be able to get certain scenarios of treasury bonds, bull and the bear. So you play both sides when it comes to the scenario. I have NHI, so that's National Health Institution. That's a very high dividend stock.
Wait, hold on. Can I do a pause real quick? Ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Where's the beginners? Like, where can I start learning this as a beginner? Because you are like speaking a whole new language. I mean, I know some stuff, but you seem like you are at advanced. Where can I go to?
Well, one thing that you can do as a free source is you go on Benzinga, 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 and also use tip ranks. So you get the situation by news. So technicals is for people that really wants to day trade, but people should always focus on sort of like catalysts. Like as my man in the chat, M. Sway, talk about medical stocks, he would pretty much use the FDA catalyst. And the FDA catalyst would be pretty much of all of the FDA biotech drugs that's going to be approved. And he would use Google Alerts to pretty much study every single topic of that niche to be able to get all the articles. Because if you're an articles person, you can be able to cross-reference easier, be able to organize everything. So yes, what he's saying right there is pretty much is all valid. So look at the situations of what Elon Musk is doing, because he has warehouses in Nevada, lithium situations that are going to be ready to go. He has the money. My lithium stocks is more based off of what is his buying habits. So Tesla is already overly expensive. People should look at Tesla like they look at Bitcoin. It's something where if it goes up, great. It helps the industry. But NIO, that is a Chinese EV that is like number one. The Chinese government is putting all their eggs in that basket.
Also, I would say crude oil as well.
Crude oil as well. ExxonMobil is actually something that my moderator, Marina, talks about all the time. She literally had that situation since January of 2016 and just hold and reinvest, fixed dollar cost averaging. Please research that flagship. You need to book a consultation, man.
Yeah, we definitely real deal. We need you to in the chat room.
That's the reason why
I'm boring on and on. I'm boring on and on. So
that's the reason why. Well, that's the reason why I'm going back to school to my master's in this, because I need to learn this and be an expert. Because the thing is, one thing I am looking at based upon people that I've been talking to is that blockchain is not going anywhere. This is like the foundation of all that blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and it's going to expand into other stuff.
Digital finance. Please research digital finance. Arizona is also a strong market when it comes to lithium, but research digital finance off the strength of when Biden raises taxes. Loans are not taxable due to the fact that loans are not income. They will get loans against big crypto Bitcoin assets and digital finance coin that you should look at. It's expensive, but it's compound.
Let me ask
MP. Yes,
let me ask this question. A real Aaron also is in the room. Mr. Collins, I'm trying to part the Red Seas for you, brother. How are you doing tonight?
Hey there, Shirley. Long time no see. Last time I saw you was on Crenshaw Boulevard.
Hey,
Crenshaw.
We know we love our neighborhood.
Where was y'all at in Crenshaw, man? Where was y'all at?
It was an MLK celebration annually.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not even sure they're doing it anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The MLK has become the United Nations parade.
Yeah, they're gentrifying Lamert Park, that area, because they're building the rail line all the way to Inglewood in collaboration with the new stadium.
Right, and then the park that they have there is a dog park, and they literally fenced that whole area off and made the drummers stay on the outside. Crenshaw's a hot mess. But tell me about what's your thoughts, Will Aaron? We've been talking about migration and financial investments. We're talking about goals to better ourselves for 2022. I don't want to get too pivot off into the financial world, though I'm very appreciative of Real Deal Finance. I really want to ask you, what's your thought? Because I think it starts with the mind first, having a pattern that you need to create new pattern. What's your thought?
Oh yeah, I agree. Basically, it is with the mind. I mean, these are biblical principles. I mean, there's a scripture that says you have what you say, and pretty much, if you think it, and I believe the secret even covers something like that. You could bring it into fruition, but at the same time, you do have to put in the work. I mean, faith without works is dead, right? You just can't think about it and not do anything because the God feeds the birds, but they got to get out of the nest and go look for the food. But he'll still take care of them. So I mean, how much more are we than a little bird? So yeah, you gotta go out there and get it. To answer your question about this conversation, I've actually heard about people making exoduses back to the South. I mean, black people going back to the South anyway. I've heard Phil speak about it on his channel. I'm talking about Phil Scott. Mm-hmm. He spoke about it on his channel about black people going back to the South. And like I was saying in the chat, even though I was born and raised on the South Side of Chicago, but when I left Chicago, I moved to Dallas and lived there for 15 years. I live in LA now to pursue the film industry. But yeah, Dallas, it's a good city. It's a good city to live in. Dallas is not as big as Houston, but that's okay because Dallas has a big city feel, but like a small city kind of grassroots lifestyle. So you get the best of both worlds there. So when it came to Texas cities, sure, I'll rep Dallas all day long. When I lived there, I gotta admit I became a Cowboys fan. I'm a bigger Bears fan, but I became a Cowboys fan there. But yeah, Dallas it's got a lot of land also too. I mean, Texas is like the second largest state in the United States after California and Alaska. So you got a good thing with Texas. And as far as Atlanta, I've heard also things about Atlanta too. I mean, Atlanta is booming right now. I mean, it's still Chocolate City in Atlanta. And
hedge funds are buying.
Huh?
Hedge funds are buying as well. So yeah, I'm pretty much agreeing with you. Pretty much agree.
Oh yeah. Yep. And so I mean, I have people. I mean, I have an artist that I'm working with who's going to move to Atlanta because now the opportunities there, particularly for us as Black people and Black entertainers. Atlanta is the hotspot. I mean, Atlanta has always been leading as far as Black Hollywood, Black fashion, Black music. I mean, Tyler Perry, like I mentioned, he literally built his studio on old Confederate slave land. Can you believe that? He said that he talked about basically the obvious not contradiction, but the obvious opposites. It's a word I'm looking for. He was saying how this African American went to Metro Atlanta and took something that used to be oppressive toward Black people and turned it into something that's for Black people.
Right.
And I like the way he put that too. So, Tyler Perry, he's one of my favorites. I love Tyler Perry. I mean, a lot of people they criticize Tyler Perry because of Mud Deer and all, and I mean, whatever. I mean, that's how he got his start. Mud Deer is what was his breadwinner, and it made him what he is today. So, and then not to mention Tyler Perry, he actually purposely goes to put Black people to work. He wants us to come work for him. So we always talk about, we don't look at
it's good and bad in all these situations, even with Tyler Perry having those lawsuits with his writers. I mean, everybody, I've heard all kind of stories, but look, we're talking about investing in oneself. That's what he did. Now, that's what you need to think about from the aspects of Tyler Perry, good or indifferent. Yeah. He just and better himself. What are we doing to better ourselves? So,
well, in 22, I know for a fact I'm working on getting rid of some bad habits because I must admit I've procrastinated too much. I mean, procrastination has been, to me, I consider like I've been in my own way. I put it that way. So I need to get out of my way, and I'm gonna start writing stuff down and start bringing things that I want to do into fruition. I figured this. I probably could have had what I'm trying to get done if I had just just did it. Like Nike said, just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Because I've been doing a lot of soul searching lately myself, and I asked myself, Aaron, what are you doing? I mean, this is a birthday month for me. I'm thankful that I made it to 2022, but I'm going to be a year older this month. So don't ask me how old I'm going to be, but yeah, I'm going to be a year older, and I asked myself, okay, Aaron, you know, it's like you're in the same position that you were in last year, the year before that, the year before, so on, you know, and I'm like, wow. I mean, I literally have these conversations with my own self.
Well, let me ask you, anybody can take this question, but at the beginning of it, I talked about patterns, right? And I talked about a dispositioned mind and people who lead from a disposition. Was I confusing, or do you guys understand what I mean by people who talk to you and lead from a disposition? What's your thought on that?
I picked up on what you were saying. How people talking about what they went through. It is like a form of discouragement, and if you're not careful, that spirit and that energy can rub off on you, because it'll probably have you thinking like, man, maybe I'm not so better off after all. I mean, look at what happened to this individual. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to go through what they went through. So
Right.
it'll put that spirit in you to not even try.
That is so true. That is so true. Real deal finances. What's your thought on that? At the beginning, I don't know if you were at the beginning of my video, but I started talking about the mindset. You know, our first goal really starts from the mind. Yes, you do have the financial knowledge, and you know the stocks, and I know the real estate. But until we create new patterns, like Colin said, he realized within himself, I got to change some things. What's your thought on the disposition mindset? The people who lead from disposition.
Well, you block them out. You you block them out, and you make sure that you have mental toughness when it comes to learning how to not caring what people say. You consider the source. You always say consider the source on when somebody is talking to you with that. I hate to cuss, Miss Shirley. A fucked up type of attitude towards you. That's a fucked up towards attitude.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's gonna be talking to you directly like that, move yourself away from them, and hopefully gentrify a block. Go get you some good 90% loans, and you know, go find some areas where you can be able to get some properties over some terms, get a construction loan, and be able to build up on an area. So you don't have to do it with violence. You just take over their areas. That's what I'm planning to do. I got a couple of situations where I got payback, and I buy the house for peanuts with cash offers and just take up this shit. So you know,
Yeah, but if
move
your
away.
mindset is not moving through your situation, you're absolutely right. You have a plan. To
I'm
me,
more
you
aggressive.
understand patterns, right? We were
I'm
talking
more
about
aggressive.
patterns. You're looking at the pattern of the stock market. You're looking at the patterns of the way the world's going. You're paying attention to Biden. That's a conscious mind. There's a lot of us who are just taking one day at a time paying bills. What
Mm-mm.
we're trying to do is tell you to stop, not to stop paying your bills, but to stop yourself, to see what those patterns are, to maybe adjust them to and better your quality.
A lot of
Flagship.
people.
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
sorry
Finish
about that.
the thought. Then
A
flagship.
lot
I'd
of
like to
people.
hear from you. Go ahead.
A lot of people don't even know what Build Back Better is, and I'll let him piggyback off of what I just said.
Flagship, what's your thought about the teeter tottering of finances in our life and in our mindset? I think he stepped away from the computer. I'm
Hmm.
sure he'll come back later. But I also think about when I talked about the mindset of, and you need to write these things down. By the way, people, let's go into the health aspect I talked about earlier. No one is talking about supplements to deal with all these colds and these viruses that are out there. I always question that. Like, why are people not telling people that they need to be taking supplements to better themselves? The two supplements that they really need is make sure they get that vitamin D and they get the zinc to deal with COVID. I believe turkey tail mushroom, which is a mushroom that looks like a turkey tail, you do your homework, is very effective. And I also believe CBD oil is very effective. Anybody have thoughts on supplements as well as the transition of the mind and work in conjunction with body, soul, and mind?
Vitamin D3, like my
Vitamin
man's,
D, that's
like my
the
man
one.
M said, zinc,
Hey, what's going on,
elderberry.
guys?
Absolutely. Hey, Super Mike, how you doing? Super Mike
What's going
always
on,
talks
Mr.
about
Mike?
wealth and health. You came in at the right time. What's your thoughts, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, what's up,
Salute to you.
Real Deal?
Salute
What's
to
up?
you, Super Mike. Haven't seen
Yeah,
you in a
you know,
minute, man.
I'll be watching you on your channel. I watch some of your stuff too. It's some real game.
Salute to you.
About the subject that y'all were talking about earlier is, you know, that's kind of what I do too. I just think that we got to recognize the value of all levels of of the development process. Some of us are at different levels than some of our other people. Some of us are at levels we don't have the patience to deal with people maybe on a more hood level, but we still have the skills to try to build up our community. So those of us who have the patience to try to lift some of the worst, well, I would call them worse, but I would just call people who are more mentally damaged, because
Mm,
there's some people that you can't even put next to inside of this conversation, or like with Real Deal, or with some of the agendas that you have going on, Ms. Hussar. No, you can't put some of our people even in the realm of that discussion, because they don't, number one, they don't have the patience. So, but we still need those people. So you have to develop them. So the people who had the patience to deal with them have to deal with them. As far as, and then when you're talking about supplements,
mhm.
you know, a lot of times we don't study this. And I'm glad you said that, because serotonin is how we control our moods. You know, noradrenaline, which is the opposite of that. If you're always in a situation where you don't know if you're gonna get kicked out of your house, you're always in a fearful situation, fight or flight. You know, you're producing all of this cortisol in your brain, all this noradrenaline. So you're real impulsive. First thing that you do, you know, you don't have patience to look at the trends of a stock market, or look at the trends and the patterns of politics, and to see where you could fit in to get some type of advantage. You know, so this is those of us who are at the level where we can appreciate these moves. You know, we need to level ourselves up. But I just encourage us, you know, if you don't have the patience to deal with the lower element of folks who don't have the who maybe are not ready for your level, at least support those who go out there and deal with them people, because that's a lot of times why we don't have support for a lot of the major agendas that we want to push, is because we don't have enough people to actually support what we're doing, because they're not prepared. We're not doing enough to prepare people. You know,
But
our people are
we talk
crazy.
about preparing the
Mhm.
people. What about at least
Yeah.
preparing your own tribe? That's what I'm thinking. Because you
Well,
may
that's
not
my
be able to
point.
save everybody.
Hmm.
But if you can just say that in intergeneration, like you're seeing this migration movement of the mother, the father, the grandchildren, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles, if you can start there first to find an ally within your own bloodline, I think you got a better shot.
Yeah. I think it's whoever will work, because sometimes it might not be your own bloodline. It might be a friend who understands
I
what you're
agree.
doing.
I
Yeah,
agree.
it's like a lot of people let their businesses go to waste and go out of our community when they have good workers, or good people that may be interested in running the business, but because the son is lazy or the daughter's lazy, you know, they just kind of let their business go away, instead of going ahead and getting that apprentice, or getting that real good loyal, maybe employee for a long time, but training them up to go ahead and take the place,
Let me ask you this. We will always realize that we live in the world of black and white, right? You've got black people, you've got white people. We understand that we still have oppressions from white America. But how do we start realizing that we have to create a new pattern in this game to make it work for us? That we realize those vices, they ain't going nowhere. White people ain't going nowhere. Racism's not going anywhere. Discrimination's not going anywhere. All these things that we know that are detrimental to us, if we know they're not going anywhere, what do we do to change us in that mindset?
That's great.
I'm asking the question.
Oh, for me? Oh,
Anybody.
That's me too?
Yeah, anybody. What's your thoughts?
Well, what I say that it will go somewhere. I mean, we could get rid of racism, but we have to understand we got to stop lying to ourselves about what it is that it's about. And the more of us, it's a team sport. There's some things that we call racist that are just people playing for their team properly. But we thought it was racist because we couldn't benefit, but they were basically just telling us you're not on our team. So we have to kind of develop. That's what I was saying. We had to develop our team, and a lot of us don't want to do that because it's very difficult. Because our supporting players are so mentally damaged, so many of them, and it's only a small amount of black folks who have that education or who have that sight to see these sort of patterns, and then they can explain the pattern. So not only can you see the pattern, but then you have to be able to explain the pattern. And you don't have people.
You also got to understand who's really black in this country. That's because black is being questioned right now, because you got Kamala wannabe Black Harris, and she's from India, and her family's from India, and she's not a descendant of slaves. So when we talk about black and white, anyone of a darker hue can claim to be black that's being oppressed by white people. But when we get more into specifics, we're talking about descendants of slaves who are not getting their just desserts, because if all these other people are claiming to be black, where do you fit in all that? That's the real deal. Real McCoy, Mr. Collins, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off what the brother was just saying, that too many times we're worried about the wrong thing. Instead of focusing on what we need to do, we worried about trying to be on their team, like he was saying. Instead of getting our own league, we need to do what we need to do. Like, I guess I can give this as an example. When they had the whole hashtag Oscar so white thing, it's like people were getting so up in shape and up in arms about what white folks are doing. But I think about it this way. Well, when they first founded the Academy Awards in Hollywood, we weren't involved in the formation of that anyway. So they've always had it to themselves. So what's the issue? I mean, yeah, are we in it now? Yeah. I mean, I work in the entertainment industry, but I mean, I don't get really worked up over the number of white people winning awards and stuff. I mean, because it was always a predominantly white industry to begin with. Mm-hmm. We need to make our own thing, if that's the case.
No, that's true. That's true. But that's why we're telling you, when we're talking about reverse migration, and if you want to do investments and opportunity, that's in the South. Because you can find kindred spirits to do what you just said.
Yeah, I like what Real Deal said about gentrifying somebody else's. Well, it's not even somebody else's neighborhood. It's our neighborhood, and it's ours. We get to claim things. We get to assert our authority over things. Somebody I was on the path. Yeah, go ahead, Real Deal. Go ahead.
No, finish your point, sir, and I'll piggyback off of that. I also got something that also would be in the same consensus.
I was on a panel and somebody was saying how, I forgot exactly how that conversation came about, but the bottom line is, it's like, you know, somebody basically said like, oh, you want to be the one to be the oppressor or something to that effect. I was like, have you ever tried it? I mean, it seems like everybody else has a spear where they could control. I mean, I know it sounds bad because we've been on the bad end of it. And of course, it sounds evil because we equate things with evil. But I mean, we should have an area where we, if we wanted to, we have that ability because we control the resource. You know, we have to build up to that. But why are we leaving spaces for other groups to be able to come in and undermine what we got going on? We should have that power to exclude. You know, why shouldn't we seek to get that sort of level up of that power, you know, in certain
I can
areas?
answer that question because these people come from a point of disposition, and when they talk to you, they tell their sad story, and we get sidetracked. Next thing we look up, they got ahead of us. We have too much compassion for others and not our own. That's the part that frustrates the hell out of me.
What was you gonna say, Real Deal?
But when it comes to that, I would have told him that. Well, I have black contractors because I got my man Abdul. He's certified in Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Tennessee, and he can also go to Iowa and Indiana. So I'm employing still people that look like me while still getting a competent job where we can be able to both make money and it can be solid services without any type of cost overruns or extreme cost overruns by poor planning and lack of understanding of how to be able to conduct project management. So I would have told them that, man, fuck off. One, I'm supplying more jobs than you, and two, like Richard Pryor said, have a Coke, and shut the fuck up. Coke in a smile and shut the fuck up. Because, like, dude, like, impressing, man, you are going to be able to supply 12 jobs. If you get $1 million loan, you can be able to supply 12 to 15 jobs consistently. If you can be able to work your way up where if you have $100 million, $200 million, $300 million commercial complex, you can negotiate a tax abatement shit like Trump did. So, you can be able to expand it where you supplied 1,200 jobs. So,
see, the challenge is though, what you guys are saying, which is true, but I just think it's too complex for people.
No, Miss Shirley, no, because the game is complex. The game is complex, homie. The game is complex. People should not have something that's lowered down because the competition is not going to lower their standards. They're going to still run and operate when it comes to their strategy points of the laws of 48. It's really up for us to be able to step our game up because it's not even white people. It's the, I don't even want to even say it fully, but it's the Iranians, it's the Chinese, because they got the liquor stores, the laundromats, where they get all the commerce directly and siphon up the little pennies and dollars and take those funds and leverage it and buy the assets surrounding it. Little Vietnam and Houston, they got the situation on lock when it comes to the liquor stores and the apartments near them.
You see, and what I feel that we have the opportunity to do, if we really, we have a lot of people with a lot of talent, and we're doing a lot of things separately, doing things. And this has to be nurtured because it won't happen overnight. But by us going through these chat rooms, we're building a familiarity with each other.
Yes.
And once you build a familiarity, that is a bedrock for trust, a degree of trust, a degree, it's just something there. And then when you have a degree of trust, now you can start doing operations. You can start doing operations. You can start saying, okay, this person, they full of shit, but this one, okay, they're a person of their word. They're a person of substance. You see, once you can get like-minded people to, because see, like Shirley said, real deal, it's a fact to some people. That level of thinking scares them. They can't, those operate. So we don't have them. We put that's what I was talking about earlier. That's what I was talking about earlier. We have to have the right people at the right level to support the movement so that it will actually work. We don't want to set stuff up with people who are not mentally prepared for the level of stress that we're going to be asking of them. It could be simple stuff to one person. Just do this, just, follow us and fill out the paperwork, go down to the city county, pull the permits and make it happen,
Right.
or call the right people. That's simple. Well, some people are just like, man, that's just too much for me. I don't deserve $1 million. They got all kind of internal stuff. Okay, well, okay, that's fine. But you still understand, okay, let's put you at this level so that you can see it being done. And maybe we can bring you up into it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. It's just like we don't really, this is what I've been saying for a long time. It's like we really don't need, I would say we don't need outside politics because we have a communication level. We don't need, we can do operations and solve a lot of problems ourselves without asking for government money. I mean, when I say government money, I'm saying from a politician directly, a new law, I should say it that way. So it's just like, it takes it takes that certain set of people who are willing to take leadership on certain issues, and then we're moving from there. But yeah, it's just like we're developing ourselves. We can't be overly we can't get too frustrated and burn ourselves out. Of course, everybody does their own thing individually, make money, level yourself up. But when you find points to support each other. Like if I didn't even really know that you were doing the real estate like that, Shirley. So that's who I'm. When I make a move.
Yeah, I would have tried to send you deals. As well.
Well, I appreciate that. No, y'all can send me the deals. That's why I said go to Cal Texas Homes and sign up.
I see it.
Make sure.
This is us supporting each other. We got to just get used to that, and then it becomes second nature. And now we're building a community. That's it. Some of this is grown. It's growth. Sometimes we don't understand I don't think sometimes we understand the factor of time, of consistency. That is a factor. So just us, like I said, doing the panels, talking to each other, but then also doing, business here on the side. Doing this, doing that. That builds a community.
Yeah, that's true. And then also talking about the fact that people are migrating and they're moving, and then you realize, oh, you were thinking like that. I was thinking like that too. Sometimes we don't know this, that we all have kindred spirits. We have the same mindset, but then there's people, they don't know where their mind should go. That's what I want this video to be about. You got to get your mind right. If your mind is right on your plan and your patterns are off, like Aaron had talked about earlier. Aaron, you kind of quiet. Aaron, what's your thought on these matters, Mr. Collins? Because what you said is so true. You're 1 year older this month, and we all need to create new patterns.
Yeah, because time waits for no one, and one thing I've been hearing that time is a precious commodity that you can never get back, and once it's wasted, that's it. It's gone. And I've been I feel that way about myself. That it's like speaking for myself, I got that, okay, I'll do it later syndrome. And it kind of scares me how far I've come and I'm still in the same position. Yeah, I've actually done a few things in my industry. I can't complain. I mean, I have my own YouTube channel. I did do that. But still, it's just other things that I think I could have had by now if I just get out of my own way. So
Mm.
it's I guess basically it's getting rid of a certain way of thinking. You know, some people call it stinking thinking. I don't necessarily have like a pity party mentality, but at the same time, I kind of get on my own case about how far I could have been.
Good point. Good point. When we talk about, uh, movement of the mind, we talked about real estate, we've talked about health. Reparations is still on the table. We've got some sharp people in this room. Real quick, I'm not going to pivot too much away from it, but that is also part of the 2020 goal, reparations and reparations. Now, what is your thought? Because some people right now are claiming reparations and they're getting it like the Afghanistans. Is that part of the equation, or do we just not focus on that? Super Mike, what's your
Well,
thought on that?
yeah, I'm gonna tell you straight up. To me, reparations is our birthright and our heritage, and it's not about the actual cash, but it kind of is, because I just was looking, I actually was reading a book on my channel, Callie House. Anybody heard of her?
Mm-mm.
With the
Oh yeah, the
reparations
County
movement.
House story. Yes, yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was reading that book, and I'm reading that on my channel, and all the documentations were showing how right off the plantation, our actual ancestors was like, they signed their name, they wanted that reparation, they petitioned Congress, they wanted the money for they literally wrote it and documented that for us to see. They literally wrote also that they knew it would take a long time, but they wanted it based on the principle. And my thing is, if someone you don't if somebody owes me money, there's a price to pay. Okay, so if you don't agree that money is owed for me, then I'm not going to support. You're not going to support my agenda. I'm not going to support you. We'll figure a way out to get it done ourselves, and that's all we have to do. We don't. I don't feel that we have to, march and all this kind of stuff. If somebody's putting together a fake little reparations committee and it's full of crap, we know. No, okay, it's not. You're not serious. You're just playing games. That's the punishment. It's like, we're not going to support you if you don't support our agenda. One of these days, somebody's going to come along who wants to get our support. They'll support our agenda seriously. If until that point in time, like you said, like we've been talking here, we focus on taking what is ours. Okay, and what I mean by that is, just like you said, the Iranians and what is this, the
Afghanistan.
Koreans. Well, no, I'm talking about these little people in our neighborhoods taking our money.
Oh yeah.
Because this is money that
Chinese,
comes.
Korean,
Yeah,
nail
see,
salons, hair
these are.
salon.
There you go.
Yeah,
Real
we don't.
deal.
Yeah, we don't need no election to go get that money. Okay, we need plans and we need operations and people who can go ahead
Need a
and,
loan officer and some business credit.
well, however
Need a
we got
loan
to do
officer
it.
and some business
We
credit.
also need to stop asking for permission. We just need to go in and get it. To be the violent, take it by force. And the problem with black people, we feel like we always have to get permission from the white man and all that. I mean, I've actually heard someone say that before, such a defeatist mentality, and it actually irritates the hell out of me. Oh, the white man ain't gonna let us do it. Why do we have to wait for them to let us to do shit? Just we need to go and get what's ours.
Hell, the white
Yeah,
man was raising hell when it came to the Vietnamese boat people in the 70s and them taking on fish. And they still prevailed from them getting sicked on by the Klan. So, no excuses. No excuses. Even
right.
though, they, the one faction of white people wanted them to progress over everybody and give them government assistance, they still had to be able to keep on having some type of move mindset. Or even if we have to go ethnically, the Jamaicans, no play in Jamaican businesses.
Hmm.
I know
It's like,
Haitian
hmm,
people that are winning in Miami, Florida, that actually got their shit together.
right.
So
You know, technology has allowed us to get out of a lot of dispositions where we know white people and we know that government has dispositioned us. For example, in deregulation, when Ronald Reagan put deregulation in place within the housing, within the banking community, a lot of small mom and pop banks were taken down. A lot of people don't realize that there were mom and small banks in those urban communities. Now, if you do go to the South, I always encourage people as far as banking, learn the local banks because see, Texas is a utility state. It's a state that has its own. HEB is a well-known market, and Kroger. A lot of those markets, they're not going to have meat shortage because they have their own cattle, they have their own milk, they have their own, pigs. They're utility states, and they still have those small mom and pop banks. Go build relationships with those banks versus when in the inner cities, they don't have those banks. They have Chase, Bank of America, and some of those guidelines we may not qualify. So then we find ourselves going to those pay cash places. Stop going to those pay less and pay cash places. You can't save no money. You can't build no wealth. So you got to start thinking of not giving so much of your money, of your earnings away. That's another problem that we have. These patterns that are those roadblocks that white America and government has done to us.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, it's like this. It's like, okay, we pick something and we take responsibility for, okay, what you have the motivation and energy to try to solve, because there's a lot of people out there already doing stuff. You're going to run into those folks and y'all figure out what you can do together. But as far as economically, this is the thing we have to understand with the use of violence. I'll say it this way. We have to legitimize our use of that, and it's going to be defense. And because the thing is this is true. When you start for example, okay, real deal. Do you know the statistics? How much money moves from the black spending or consumers moves into the hands of other communities besides black people?
Well,
Like basically,
it has
what
to be
percentage?
with
Yeah, what percentage of our spending goes to other non-black people? You ever heard any of the
what is it though?
statistics like that?
80-20? 80-20? Because I've always
I
heard of the
know.
situation of the six hours until
Right.
situations does transfer over. Somebody captured that transaction that
Right. I
wasn't
know. Like,
saying
what is that new? Who Nielsen? I think Nielsen did a
Nielsen's
real study on it.
Mm.
Like 90.
okay.
It was like
People still look at
96%.
Nielsen ratings. Interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, they
Yeah, that's
actually
very
did a
old.
real study on it. I think. Well, it was something. It was somebody did a no. It was a study. It was an agency that did a real study. I don't know this stuff, but I know for a fact we spend our money with other communities, and they have been depending on our spending for generations, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, right? Okay, so as we start to compete for our own money, which is the money that our people spend with these other communities. Let's say we go for the Iranian somewhere in Houston first. We're going those mom and pop stores, we're going to put our stores there or something. That's our money, it's our people. We want that money to go back into black hands. Do you think they're just going to sit there and not take any kind of actions? And this is the problem that a lot of us, this is where the muscle comes in. Because this is where we got to understand, once we start making these kind of moves, this is normal. They're going to test you physically. They're going to test your resolve. So those relationships have to be ready. You have to have those relationships with those goons. And we have to understand that too, because that's part of it. The regular popo ain't gonna protect you.
Nope.
Because they down with it. You got to have your goons ready. And this is where I say this is the reason why I tell people, like, when you're talking about taking over and really growing as far as with black money and growing and, you know, taking over and gentrifying the area and really controlling it, you need to find out which Pookie and Ray Ray you could work with. I say it that way. Because, you know, it's just that's where it's going to get to. And so I just wanted to put that out there because it's part of it. All of us have all of us have a section to do. All of us have a part in this puzzle. And that's why, you know, a lot of times, you know, we got one part of the puzzle, but then when you're making too much or you're doing too good, you know, they mess up your loans, or they you know, they set you up so where you got to sell out. Of course, you're going to sell your business if they offer you so much, you know, because you're competing too well.
No, I totally agree with you. Hey, you guys, I want to move into another segment. If you guys want to stay on, please do. I want to get your opinion on what Kamala Harris is doing with the descendants of slaves' legacy, and it's part of a hot topic agenda. Let's listen in. So recently, Kamala Harris has, with a bunch of African Americans, and I'm going to find this article and I'm going to share it with you. They have decided to revitalize the Freedman Bureau Bank and call it the Freedman Bureau Bank Forum. This form of people that are coming together are supposed to be allocating money towards Black people. This is the article right here. It's called Vice President Harris and the Treasurer announced billions for Blacks. Okay, the Treasurer now announced billions for Black minority people. Vice President Kamala Harris and the Treasurer and Yellen, you know, you guys know Janet Yellen, headlined their annual Freedman Bureau Bank Forum. Now, I didn't even know they had an annual forum, so I guess this is a new annual forum. Educate me. On Tuesday, announcing $8.7 billion. If you guys can see that right there, right here, $8.7 billion of federal funds of financial institutes to service the minority and underserved small business owners. Minority and underserved business owners. Now, before I go into the complexities,
keep going.
I know y'all mad. Hold on, please hold your thought. Let me get all the information out, and then y'all can thread. You can agree or tear this shit up, however you want to tear it up. Okay. A sizable amount of investors of the offices of the Vice President and the Treasury Department is part of a $12 billion secured. It was secured last year by Harris, Cory Booker, who's Black, Chuck Schumer, who's white, Mark Warren, I don't know what he is. He probably is, I think he might be white, and Maxine Waters, head of the Financial Service Committee. Now, it's interesting how Maxine Waters is head of the Financial House Servicing Committee, and Kamala Harris is vice president, but Black people are all torn up in the Black community. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. The Black Neighborhood Investment Act, which you guys need to do your homework on. And again, at the end of this video, I always put all the links of that what we're discussing, what their intentions are, and the community and financial institutes. What I find interesting in the article goes on and on and on. This money is to go to Blacks and minorities, and it's called the Freedman Bureau Bank. But what is the Freedman Bureau Bank? Remember, we talked about what the Freedman Bureau Bank. The Freedman Bureau Bank came out of when the Blacks were freed. You guys know the story. If you guys don't know, and I'm gonna put all this down the bottom. I'm not gonna go into it because I really just want to get it. They were able to. They were supposed to enact what they called Special Order Number 15. Again, y'all gonna have to do your homework, but they didn't do Special Order Number 15.
Order. Yeah,
because they didn't do Special Order 15 because Lincoln died. But William Sherman and the radical Republicans really wanted to instill it. But Andrew Johnson, who was vice president, who was Dixiecrat and a racist and a Ku Klux Klan member basically installed the Freedman Bureau Bank. And when they put the bank together, blacks put their money in this banks, and eventually they stole this money. So now they're using the term Freedman Bureau. Freedman Bureau Bank it's a total disrespect because now you're giving it to minorities. Freedman Bureau Bank was not for minorities. Remember, a white, gay, transgender dog can be a minority. You can call it however you want. But these people are all considered minorities. The Freedman Bureau Bank was not for minorities. It was for descendants of slaves. And now, again, reparations, which we are supposed to be for us, are not going to us. It is going towards these immigrants. And they're talking about $8.7 billion of federal funds. And then why are we getting a loan? That's my question. Why isn't it an executive order? And why isn't it performed in grants? And why isn't it instilled into just descendants of slaves? Why do they continue to water down things that we should be getting? All right, now y'all can talk.
Well, basically, I wanted to say this. Basically, this shouldn't be a surprise because all these other so-called disenfranchised groups, these are code words. These are their ways of saying that, or see, we're helping minorities, but they're excommunicating black people when it's supposed to be for us. They try to appear not racist when they actually are by helping these other groups who have literally co-opted our struggle to begin with. You know, it's been happening with the alphabet people, and it's happening with all these other, like you just said, these other fringe groups. Now you got the animal rights people. I mean, I love animals too, but you got them wanting to jump in and come in on what's supposed to be for us also. And as far as Kamala Harris is concerned, well, didn't she at one time she actually denied being black? She almost said something that basically disrespecting toward black people, but yet they know how to sway us and get our votes. I mean, before she became officially the president, wasn't she supposed to be seen dancing to Cardi B and all that other stuff? I mean, they know how to sway us. We're some of the most emotional and most easily swayed people. So that's why they're able to help the minorities and at the same time X us out.
But this is my question. This twofold. Okay, so they already are instilling this and pushing this forward. Do we not take the money, or do we take the money? And if we take the money, anytime you sign or get any kind of loan, there's all kind of red tape, right? It could be like 5,000 things in there you don't really read because there's so many papers they have you to sign. I mean, it's so much confusion behind stuff like this when you use terms from the past, when the terms of the past was clearly for Negroes, but now you done got rid of the word Negro and you call everybody black, including this woman who ain't black. I mean, it's very frustrating to me.
Yeah, they're basically Rachel Dolezal-ing us.
Well, that's true. That's true. Any other gentlemen, you guys have any other input? A real deal. What's your thought?
Apply for the money, leverage it if you can.
Huh?
Apply for the money if you can.
What you say? Apply for the money?
Apply for the money if you can. JP Morgan Trust, go for that shit too. Go to sam.gov and see what you can get.
Oh yeah, sams.gov. I totally agree with you. You can get your SAMS number for your business. Go for it because you need to do it right now. Get that grant money so that it can support your business base. I talked about Eric Coffin. He is on YouTube and he always tells you ways that you're able to apply for this government money. Like the money is there. I get it.
What's his channel?
I just don't like the mismanagement of the history. It's false truths, and that's the part that upsets me.
What is Eric Coffin's channel, really quick?
I'll put it in the link.
If you know him personally, I can send him clientele.
Yeah. Go ahead. Definitely do that. But again, look at the title of this: Vice President Harris and the Treasurer. So Janet Yellen is supporting this. billions for Black minority business. Well, when you say minority, that's it. It's a wrap.
See, this is my take on this. Of course, it's all our money anyway. I mean, it's our tax money, so they're just paying it, giving it to us. So, but the point, they're not giving it to us; they're loaning it to us, huh? And they loan it to other people. So the thing is this. This to me is two things I'm looking at this as. They know, we know. And for them to even do this, it shows that we're trending in the right direction, because they're trying to make the biscuit, they're trying to make the biscuit a little bigger. They keep raising up the price of the biscuit. Like, come get, don't you want this? Come vote for it. And so we can betray you later. It's like they gotta keep, so we just need to understand that the bottom line is this whole thing, even the invention of Hispanic, all of that stuff on the census, we got to understand that all of these moves, if we go back from the Freedmen's Bank, like you said, Andrew Johnson, they stole the reparations. If they would have just gave those reparations to us, they already gave it to us, actually. All that land down there in South Carolina, Georgia, and stuff that we had, and then took it back after Field Order number 15. If they would just left us alone, that would have been it. They wouldn't have been worried about, we would have had our power base and we would have been good. But he took it back, so scattered us. And now it's like, then we were doing too good, because we got to realize they actually thought that we was going to just die without their help. Because they literally believed that if they just ignore us and don't help us, then we'll just die by ourselves. We'll just kill ourselves. But if it looks like we actually made so much money, they just stole it. And so now that's more money. That's part of reparations. But, they tore the building down. They tore the Freedmen's Bureau down. And then they built, I think that's the Treasury. And is the Treasury built in that space?
No, yeah,
whatever.
I think you may be
I think
right
that's
on
where they built it. Yeah, they built the Treasury building. So yeah, the Janet Yellen, that's the Treasury Secretary. She was a former, wasn't she a former federal, or is she the Fed chairman or the former?
She's
Treasury Department.
She's the current treasurer.
But she was a
Treasury
former
Department.
Fed chairman. She was the Fed chairman. Okay, so yeah, she served in both jobs. So we got to understand, like, this whole thing, we literally are the money of this country. Our bodies, our ideas, but so much money and so much propaganda goes into causing us to devalue each other and to devalue ourselves, so that we don't ignore them and just focus on controlling what actually comes into our own hands.
But it's not that part of that devaluing, not knowing one's self-worth, because a lot of Blacks don't even know their own history. That's why.
Well, that's the point. This is the point. This is why we can't even get offended. We can't even get offended on it because we don't know about it.
I'll give you an example. We talk about 40 acres and a mule. A lot of people don't realize that after the war, there was so many broken down mules. That's why they were giving us a mule. And when it talks about South Carolina, look at the article. South Carolina, 240 miles of South Carolina, Jackson, Florida. Those are the Geechee people. That's the Geechee Gullah people. And so there are Blacks who we still have a lot of those people. And I did a video. I showed y'all they building resorts on top of the graveyards, right on top of the graveyards. Totally disrespecting the Blacks.
But we don't have the. But we don't even have the. We don't have the understanding.
We don't have the lobbyists in place to protect our own people.
No, but think about it though, Mr. Zarkus. We don't even have the information in the people themselves. They don't even get offended because they don't have the knowledge to even get offended. They don't even have the history. They don't know it. It hasn't been passed down. So this is what I was talking about. We got to develop people. People can't even get offended. They can't even support. They can't support themselves because they don't have a background. That's what that's why I said, like, all of this stuff comes into play. I had a young brother tell me, because he was like, we need to just forget that history stuff. We just need to go focus on technology and grow. I was like, well, yeah, that's true. We can focus on technology. That's good and everything. But when you get money and when you get all of this technology, you haven't planted your flag anywhere. You don't know what you're building. You're not building a legacy. You don't know where's your house at? Where's your, where's your foundation? You don't have a culture to advance. You don't feel it. You don't have a sacred identity, because you don't really understand the history and all of the people who went into getting you to this point. You see what I'm saying? So that's where the education part comes into it. It's like, and so it's just like, and you know what else I found out too? I was reading that book with Callie House, who needs to be, we should be making her a bigger name. But Harriet Tubman, they was gonna put her on the $20 bill. Remember that?
Right. Did they stop it?
Yeah. Oh, no, hold on. Let me tell you that was actually an insult, because Harriet Tubman, the last few years of her life, because see, the Callie House and them, they were fighting to get the ex-slaves, reparations and get them pensions, get them payments, because and many of them had served in the war, died in the war, made sure that the North had won. They literally talked about all that stuff at that very time. And Harriet Tubman was one of the ones who had served in the war and helped the North win and everything. And she had to fight for her pension. And she was supposed to get $25 a month for her pension or something to that effect for a certain period. And then it was some more. But she had to fight for it, and she had to make a big deal of it. And they finally end up giving it to her, but they didn't give her what she was supposed to get like everybody else. They just gave her $20 a month to like spite her.
Well, it's the same thing with the Freedman bank. A lot of the soldiers that served in the war, they put their money in that bank and then they stole it.
Yeah, but the thing is, giving Harriet Tubman, making her fight for not, and giving her $20 a month, it was like an insult to her in her lifetime. And then for us to think it was a success for her to put her on a $20 bill, that was an insult. That was them kind of putting their middle finger up at us because we don't know the history. She was mad at that $20.
If they put her on a $20 bill, this is my feeling. See, I agree with you, but I look at it this way. I want to see her on a $20 bill. I want my ancient mama pancakes back, and I want my bin back, rice back. Let me tell you why. I don't want them ever to forget the pain they caused us. I want pain in their face all the time. I want them racist ass white Americans to have to take that nigga out of their wallet and spend it. That's my mindset. I'm sorry. Everybody got different voices on that one.
Hey, I understand, but I'm just trying to think of something that's sustainable. I think if we just take
that.
money,
I just think that abstain to abstain. I understand what you're saying, but the problem I have is people don't want to remember our pain. They don't want our people. They don't want us to be remembered of the pain.
They on a different team. They feel like they beat us, and we should just learn how to compete. That's what the world is. It's like the Chinese people. It's like, well, y'all stupid enough to give us y'all money. We won't spend it with y'all. We're not going to spend. I had started businesses. We started a couple of restaurants, and it was Chinese people. They just came in there to buy. They bought a couple pancakes, and then they tried to start selling the same thing. But of course, ours was better. But they don't come in there to spend money with us.
If they put her on a $20 bill, and I'm gonna shut my thought down because I really want to hear what the real deal who deals with finances all the time talks about. If they put her on a $20 bill, look how it brought discussion up, and look how you, Super Mike, just educated me about the 20 versus the 25. Just think about it. I mean, Pure Vision is on point. That's right. They're trying to erase our history. So I want things that they twist and turn to not be true. And then once they put it in place, we go, Oh, you know why they put her on a $20 bill. You know what they really did to her? And then you could educate the next generation with that. That's just my thought. Real deal, what's your thought?
Um, no, that was messed up. What they did to Superbike. That's messed up. They bought it just to try to resell it for a higher price.
Oh yeah, they do that. Chinese people do that all the time, though.
You know,
I mean, that's what they. That's a normal.
I do it to them in reverse.
But I don't get offended from that. I just look at that as competition. I don't get really. I'm not angry with them for doing that, but I understand if it's like to me, I look at it like this. It's like we're in a situation. Yeah, it's like we're in a situation where it's like, this dude just keep dropping $100 out of his pocket. And I mean, maybe the first time you're like, dude, is this your money you dropped? And he's just like, oh, I'm not going to keep giving you your money. If money on the ground, I'm just going to take it. You keep leaving it there. And, you keep leaving it there. It's your money. Yeah. It literally is coming out of your pocket. But, I'm not going to let you come in my neighborhoods, and set up no store or nothing like that. A lot of us don't even know where the people live actually that have stores.
They set up business and then they go live somewhere else. And the next thing you look up downtown LA, they got a Korean town.
Yeah.
They take their money, and next thing you look up, they got banks. So let me get this straight. You come here, you leverage, you got EB-5 visas, and you're able to leverage off of our community. I mean, because we're not conscious of realizing they got Chinese banks and Mexican banks and Indian banks, and we keep talking about the Freedman Bureau. Well, you got Bank One and also other black banks. I did a video on the black banks. But here's the deal. Even with the black banks, we need black businesses. And then we need to support them. If you're going to go to Washington, D.C., I've done a video on this, where they had Chinese soul food. And then in California, they got Mexican soul food. We don't even cook our own food. And then we patronize these other people who do that. I'm not buying from Chinese people.
But it's the messaging. Food. Yes. See, this is what I'm saying. Like the messaging stuff that we think is racist, it's really just competition. And so, like when people, like let's say I was to go to DC and say, y'all gonna buy from a Mexican food, man? It's the cheapest price. I'm just getting it. So it's also dealing with people who are skilled at messaging, with the spiritual side of it.
But it's also financial. I mean, if I can get it cheaper from the Chinese, why should I buy it from black people?
But that is the messaging person's job to communicate that, because we don't have a chance unless we convince our people.
These people can buy in bulk. A lot of black people can't buy in bulk like that.
That's right, because you cannot compete with them. They wouldn't buy from you even if you did sell it cheaper. Because if we notice that don't work with us sometimes when we're able to offer a product at a lower cost, they're just going to get more busy so that they can outbid us. But that's not going to cause them to just go ahead and flood us with their money like that, because they understand that this is about competition. And the more of our people understand that it is about competition. Now, of course, we're not going to sit there and just be, trying to pay exorbitant prices for no reason. But, if I pay a higher price, maybe my kids can get a job from you. Maybe we can we can work with you in some other kind of way where you bring value to the community. I mean, it's just like we got to find a way, and we can't just sit there and say, well, we lose again. We got to find a way where these businesses can bring adequate value to our community and still survive.
I totally agree with you, Mr. Collins. You've been kind of quiet. What's your thought, bro?
Oh yeah, I got some. Yeah, I'm just listening to, soaking up what the knowledge of everyone else. But yeah, I'm agreeing with everyone saying that basically we're pretty much the most marketable people on the planet. That's why everyone's able to come up in our shop, come up in our neighborhood, set up shop, and run roughshod on us in our own communities, and still discriminate against us willfully. And another thing too, I realized that we live in neighborhoods. We don't live in communities. We live in neighborhoods. Because if you break down the word community, what is it? It's common unity. We're not common with each other because everyone is doing their own thing. We're some of the most disunified, disenfranchised, discontented, malcontented group of people. And I hate to say that about our people, but I'm looking at our communities. Our communities have become what has been known as called Blackistan. And and I mean, when you take a group of resources, and you take certain resources from a community, what is the natural default that the community is going to do? It's going to implode in on itself. That's why they have this narrative. Well, the black on black crime and stuff. Well, yeah, when you have a group of people that are within close proximity of each other, of course you're going to have certain stuff like that. I mean, it happens in other communities too. It's just not as widely talked about. So the thing with us is we allow people to literally just have their way with us. It's like our relationship with particularly the more dominant community is basically a pimp and hoe relationship. And I'll put it this way: we ain't the pimps, as some of us talk about in the music.
Right. I still believe in though, like no matter what facts we find, like to me, this is how I was taught to think. It's like once you identify a problem, you also identify solutions. Like it's like your mind, like to me, it's like true. We state the truth, and it could be facts, and maybe we are, maybe currently in not a good spot, but it's like you never end on like defeat. It's like this is what we're ending. We're just stating the facts so that we can get on this path to to uh to win. You know, that's the reason why I said it's like just like we were talking about with the pricing issue. We're taught economics 101. Low price. You know, buy low, sell high, basically economics 101. But we're not taught about Keynesian, right? But we're not also in our community in education, we're not taught how other people are taught too. They like blood is thicker than water, right? Or
Right.
something. Yeah, see, that's a whole nother economic strategy as well, because see, this is how we're getting dominated. There's a power aspect to
And
owning
the
and
Jews are
controlling.
good for that one. The Jews are good for that.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, the
And
Jews
I
are
mean,
good. The Jews value the woman's womb, and I say that because Black people, with the abortion rate and
yeah,
the lack of respect towards each other, the lack of respect for Black women, for Black men, it's really interesting to see in this new generation. It's just so divisive and so destructive. Where the alpha man is being so suppressed, and these little beta boys are popping up all over the place. It's crazy for me.
yeah, it's crazy. But like I said, at the same time, you get to incentivize losers. Look, this is what I say too. Are we literally a culture that incentivizes liars? Because sometimes there's truth that we don't want to hear, and so we punish those people who literally tell it instead of saying, is this a fact? Is this a fact? And how do we use these facts to create a strategy that leads us? Because maybe maybe you don't have the power to just change it with the snap of a finger, but can we at least create a strategy that we can say now for 2022? Here's the agenda.
Right.
Now this is how we're going to start putting ourselves in better positions,
Well, let's stop
because
right
it's
there.
about
If I could go, let's stop right there. If I could go to each one of you gentlemen right now, and I'll start off with Mike. Mike, if you could tell me three things that people should do for the beginning of this year, I think we'll go in a circle. We'll do you, we'll do Real Deal, and then we'll do Aaron, and it'll come back to me. Let's start with you. Give people three things in 2022 goals to better themselves.
the first thing I would
And
say is
why?
you got to, and I'll tell you straight up, you got to focus on self-development. You know, you have to look, number one, there's a lot, we make a bunch of promises. Okay, what is the most attainable promise that we can do for ourselves? And stop lying to yourself. literally, if you told yourself that you can do it, strategize, find out the numbers you need to find out, and get that thing done so that you would have a win for yourself. Your self-esteem is value. You know, the way you see and feel about yourself is extremely important because you have to have confidence in yourself so that you can level yourself up. So I think,
Yes.
focus on your self-development, whether that be mental health, you know, conquering some of those old demons, whatever it is that you dealing with, work on that. Because see, you can't take more pressure, you can't take on more responsibility if you don't have the mental fortitude to maintain it. So a lot of that's dealing with, the mental health. So I think that would be number one. Number two, and level yourself up with money. Level up, try to work on those little relationships that you was wrong at least the part that you was wrong. Go ahead and swallow some of that pride and try to repair some of that old stuff. Even if it don't work out, do your part and leave it at that. That way by this time next year, you can be like, well, at least I did this, and you'll feel positive about yourself.
Totally agree. Amen to that. Very, very good points. Let's go to Real Deal. Real Deal, what's your 3 goals that you think everyone should focus on? Different. Try to think a little different because I know a lot of us are going to be redundant on we all in the same agreement, the mindset. But give me something a little bit different on your take.
Well, specifically, understand of what is the realm of your area. How can you be able to benefit? If it's not being a merchant when it comes to B2C, how can you be able to do B2B business? Because now it's literally been a new transition of me adding dispatching business, and I'm already getting good success getting shippers and carriers and adding more people that are or about to transition to owner operator. And anybody that does know anybody in the trucking business, be able to get them some good rates and get them some good outbound freight loads that's get picked up. So I think people should focus on transportation. 1, 2, should be able to focus on credit as always. 3, if you don't have home ownership, get it. And if you already do have home ownership, focus on getting at least a level of merchant level type of understanding of capturing payments, providing a service, or delegating. So those are my main 3. So pretty much transportation, credit, and delegating. So we can be able to leverage other people to be able to get a service done without any type of issues or hiccups. Standard operating procedure to make sure that everything is day-to-day run correctly, and stipulations, and also certain type of, how can I say, punishment onto yourself. If you don't do certain things, you got to double up. If you couldn't get it done yesterday, just double up. So that's all me.
I think that's great. I think what you're saying has a lot of value to it when we're talking about cash flow. The ideas that you just mentioned relate to cash flow. So I totally agree with that. Aaron, you're next.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would definitely say to do is definitely get back to God. Definitely do that and put Him first. Secondly, is work on building better relationships with one another. I think that's attainable. I think that's something realistic. And thirdly, stop waiting for someone else to do it, but to take up, to basically take it upon yourself to just do it. And I'm mainly speaking about myself, but I guess I can apply that collectively too. Um, to, um, and this right here, to me, this is therapeutic because I need to hear this, and also it's a challenge for me to actually put into practice what I'm saying. But yeah, that's I think those are 3 main things: God, relationships with each other, and just doing it instead of waiting for someone else to do it. if you see the issue, then you make an effort to correct it.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys are all amazing men because everything that you're saying, I hope the community realize we say these things and we share this out of our heart because we want to better ourselves. And like Super Mike says, if we as a community don't identify these things, it's detrimental. And like Real Deal said, financially, it is important to diversify your knowledge and your ability. We cannot hold back. We have to continue to move forward. I look at it as like a moving train that's you got to jump on. You can't just thinking it's going to stop for you. That's the funky part with white America. They keep talking about, oh, we want to help you. You don't need the help. You need to find that moving train.
Like,
Just
dude,
fund my programs.
Like, dude, Indians is getting involved in trucking now.
Oh,
why I said
yeah,
transportation. That's why I'm
Trucking
stressing. That's why I'm stressing
trucking is
transportation. That's why
making
I'm
money
getting
because
underlined.
all that money out on the ocean, it ain't getting to the ground. So there's a lot of movement from trucks to California and Nevada to Washington D.C. I mean, the
A
trucking
lot of
industry is the
people in
money.
Idaho.
I mean,
A
they
lot of
can
people
already
in
pretty
Idaho
much
want to go to the West Coast.
they pretty much already made the bones in the hotel industry, so now they're getting into trucking too. Wow.
But you don't need
That,
no college degree for trucking. You just need to know how to drive
But
and
we
have a good
but we are
record.
going to be rich. I think we're going to be the people who pay attention to this stuff. We're going to be the ones that have the knowledge because real leadership is about knowing what to do in the critical time and getting it done effectively. And that's the reason why I don't get too mad at people who maybe they don't pay attention to some of this stuff right now because right now they're you got to have working people to help you to grow your organization and that's what they may be there for. And if there's a situation where because I know the food's going to get more expensive, there's going all sorts of pressure is going to happen on this country, especially this year. So people are going to be looking for answers. And if we're the ones paying attention to what the answers are, then we'll have something valuable.
I got a question for y'all, man. Do any of y'all know an online notary by any chance? Online notary.
Online notary,
I
I
don't.
don't. Mostly, I mean, you can look up a notary online, but it usually have to be local, unless you're doing DocuSign.
Well, we're doing situations of DocuSign, so it would be all virtual. This is like for bill of ladings and proof of deliveries and invoicing of carrier packets that I got to do. So I'm just asking.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, yeah, if you can set up an app or something, brother, let us know. Anywhere we can help promote any of you gentlemen's business, let us know. Because again, when I talk about understanding that you need to find cash flow, just like Mike was saying, we're in a situation where y'all need to be conscious now because this year is going to be an interesting year financially. Gas is already crazy, food is already crazy. Like I teach you, that COVID factor woke up a lot of people where you had to start looking at your family and you had to start looking in the mirror. And I think you need to collaborate with your own tribe. So last year
Oh
was
yeah.
save yourself. Now this year, to me, my theme is save yourself and your tribe.
Right.
I look at COVID as basically a blessing in disguise because it also exposed a lot of stuff. And when we were on the lockdowns, I believe it caused a lot of us to really to focus back on things that need to be done. Particularly, it got those who are in families. It got people that are talking to each other again. It got folks to being human again in a sense. Whereas we were so busy off into our own thing that when we were free, so to speak, that we forgot a sense of, I guess, family. So that's what I took out of the quarantine and stuff. It was a little bit more peaceful. And then I guess I'm speaking that because I don't really do the club thing and stuff. No way. The most I usually do will go to movies and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, sometimes being to yourself and alone, reading a good book or something, learning another skill There's nothing wrong with that, actually.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. In the trucking industry, keep in mind it's a trade. This is the challenge. All these foreigners are jumped into the trade system because they come here with no skill sets. Here we are, black people with master's and doctor's degree, and we're homeless. Something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with
Well,
that.
I'm getting my electrical contractor's license when I take this test. And the thing is, there's a room in all the trades. We should all learn something on how to build, even the biggest trade, which we ran away from, which is farming. And it's hard for us to do because a lot of us ain't used to it. But we need to start learning about certain skills, even if we don't do them necessarily. Just learning how to get into certain industries, because when people start needing money, and they are completely broke, they can't get a loan or any of that because they need to start from square one. It's going to be good to be the person with some kind of answer for them, and how to walk them through some paths on how to develop, because I think that's where we're headed to. A
Yeah,
lot of people, they're on the streets and everything, like you said, doctors and all this kind of stuff, living in their cars. I see them living up in their cars and everything, but you know, they're going to be moving into different fields. So
this year I'm not gonna try to do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get my F-107 license, and that's a license to fly a drone commercially.
oh yeah,
The drone industry, it's still at ground zero, but it's popping, and particularly in the entertainment industry, they're hiring people with drones to do like overhead shots, and then even in other industries such as, say, real estate or construction, someone may
right,
may need you to do something, but you couldn't do it, like a human being couldn't get into certain spaces. With a drone, with a camera on it, you can like fly up in there and look at certain angles and go to the top, and you get the shot that they need, and find it and bring it back to the foreman or to the director or producer, get that scene out of the way and be done with it, make you some good money, and while at the same time, adding to the production. I mean, it's
right,
so much going on. I should have really had, because I took a workshop 2 years ago, right before the pandemic hit. I should have just well, you know what? I'm not going to talk about what I should have done. I'm saying this is 2022. I'm going to do it.
This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. That have the mindset of this is what you're going to do, man. That's why I said push through a lot of this stuff, man. If they ain't building, which if they're not a valuable asset, move along, man. Because when it comes to this year, people should focus on something like the shipping thing, finding farms, contacting that broker, seeing if they need any outbound freight. There you go. Congratulations. You a damn dispatcher now. Get a carrier that with an MC number, figure out on the scenarios what their lanes are, how much to be able to operate the truck, insurance, per diem. Bingo. If you need an accountability coach, I'm here, man. That's why people need to tap in with me, man. Because even people in this chat pretty much made money with me. So, and that's just off the basis of free content.
I
right.
love that. Well, we got to do a one-on-one on finances for
I
sure.
mean,
I love
we
what
did.
you
Oh
have
yeah.
to say. What advice would y'all give black homeless people? I know that's a curveball, but
Hell
I
yeah.
deal with a lot of. Let me give you an example, just real quick. I know it's late and we're about to end this video, but I just want to share. You guys are such intelligent brothers. I really want to share this one video. I filmed this video in 2018. I want you to see something if you ain't seen this video already. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to see
Not
it
the full
before.
screen.
Yeah, I
Not
can
the
see it.
full screen
Yeah.
though.
Okay. Let me let you see this video I taped.
Okay.
You know, I'm 67 years old. So, you know, there's a lot of the older people down here that we're gonna fix income at one time. Right. All right. So we are downtown Los Angeles, me and Kenneth, and the state of California continues to get eroded with funds from the federal government and state money not going towards the community people. We're here filming on Gladys and Fifth Street, and we're going to be talking to some of the homeless people, and if not, at least filming them so you guys can feel the pain of what Americans go through downtown LA, and specifically African American people. We're down to 6% black Americans left in California, and we just wanted you to see what this life is like. You can see they continue to raise taxes. They continue to say that they're going to create some type of new financial aids. Right now, California has a bond system where they have California bonds. They want you to give money to bonds. And they continue to talk about illegal immigration. And that's where that money is going towards. So what's your thoughts, gentlemen, on this right here? I mean, here we have a situation where you got black homeless.
I can speak from first-hand knowledge of that. I've lived in Skid Row and I've been homeless there. So, yeah, that really hit home, actually, Shirley, because I see what Garcetti is doing with the building up downtown and Hollywood, but yet you see more tents and encampments and stuff like that all over. Even in the so-called upscale neighborhoods in LA County, you see tent cities popping up. So it's something wrong with that picture. I don't know when the last time it was you've been to Venice, but the whole area along the boardwalk is just tinted up right now.
They said they removed those tents. They're supposed to be all gone now. There was that, but they cleaned it up. They got them out.
And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like they're getting them out, okay, but where are people supposed to go? I mean, people need keys to homes. Now, yeah, I get it. You got people with substance abuse issues, and something needs to be helping, but basically what they're doing is they're putting a Band-Aid over a gaping wound. Giving people a few pills and stuff, that's not really helping the situation. And with Garcetti, like certain bus routes, like the 210, for example, doesn't even go all the way down Rossmore anymore from Vine. They managed to detour it to down Beverly Boulevard so it doesn't go through Hancock Park. Because according to them, it's a certain, they don't want a certain element coming through their community. So they basically detoured the bus route down Beverly to Western and then back to Crenshaw instead of the other way around. Because they want to make it look like as if, oh, everyone is just living so happy. But as the mayor of Los Angeles, you have an entire city of people who need your help. And you sit up here in your ivory tower in Hancock Park and do nothing. I got an issue with that. And I do say that from first-hand experience, because once again, I've lived in the shelters, I've slept on buses and trains, and I've resided in Skid Row.
Wow. Shout out to you. You're an amazing
Shout out to you.
man.
What did you do? Are you still in LA?
Yeah.
What did you do to what happened to help you get your situation in a better spot?
Well, a lot of prayer and all that, but definitely, like the last time I was homeless, a brother from church actually invited me to come live with him in his place, and I've been there since 17. And it wasn't through any of the programs they have. Matter of fact, let me let all three of you know this. I signed up on the CES program 3 times, and nothing came of it. It took someone from actually one of the shelters I was living in, and she broke it down to me and was real about it. She said that they look at somebody like me that's able-bodied who can kind of fend for himself. And while I halfway looked at it as a compliment and all, at the time I just needed a helping hand. I wasn't asking him to do it all for me. I just needed a hand up, and I could have taken it from there because I was just looking for just a place I could go to of my own, whether it be an SRO. That's what they have here in LA, SRO, single room occupancies, and I would have managed to do there because I was working part time and making a little bit of money. I just needed just a helping hand. But it took a brother from church from to ask me if I come live with him. He had a room in his place, and I've been there ever since. I'm still there to this day.
So that tells me right there, it takes people who have a heart, because it's not any kind of logic that's going to solve that problem. It takes people who have knowledge to organize to solve that problem. It doesn't take an election. Don't even expect any sort of the mayor is trying to get rid of black people, and the governor is too.
Oh yeah, amen to that.
So I came to California, as an electrician, and I was just amazed at how many homeless people were at the rest stops and stuff. These are working people sleeping in their cars and trucks and stuff. I was like, wow, this is interesting. So I was just like, and I kind of felt bad because I'm coming in here making money, and these people ain't got no money. What's happening? How come they not doing this or doing that? So, and then I found, as I worked in the industry here, then I understood how California racism works. I didn't understand how did they funnel the people. They make it hard for. They make it seem like it's hard to get these type of skills, which are basic construction skills, trades. These are the things that you got to go for. So what I would advise people to do is I would advise a group of people who understand the game. You got to get to Arizona. You got to get to Texas. You got to get somewhere where you can get into a cheaper place where you can get a spot where you can stabilize your life. Even I would sleep in a car in Arizona before I sleep in California. I would go there and I would get into one of those unions, one of those trade schools. I would learn one of these trades and get an apartment out there for $400 a month, a single bedroom. We had 3 of us. We stayed in. When I'm traveling as an electrician. I just paid $100 a month. We're just going. It was like 3 of us in the spot. These are things we can do if you're not focused in a box, because the world is our home. I mean, I understand that we grew up and we were born in a certain place and we have this kind of connection to these places and stuff. But I mean, the world is our home, man. We can go all kinds of places. So that's what I would say. I would say go somewhere where you can get yourself a chance. And then once you get yourself together and you have that, come back and talk to the people, just talk to them. You don't have to do anything for them, but just talking to them, tell them, here's what I did, here's what I did. Here's what I did,
I got a nickname for Gavin Newsom. I call him Gavin Nuisance because that's basically what he is to me. Is a nuisance.
Oh, okay. Hey, they're gonna do what they're gonna do though, but we gotta organize in order to protect ourselves and compete. That's what I look at these people as our opposition. They're just, it's like they want to get rid of us, but it's like we won't go away. to them, they're looking at us like a nuisance. They're like, dang, we try to get rid of these people, and they're just a little bit too tough. They're tougher than you think. So that's what's happening. That's what Kamala Harris. They're dumb. Let me just use their little name of their bank here. Let's trick them with that. Maybe we can get some votes out of this. Yeah,
exactly. Like you did with the Cardi B video.
Yeah, but as far as the homeless, I always said, even I mean, my mother came to this state. She was down there in L.A. and she met a guy. She met a brother. He was nice and everything, but it's like he was a master carpenter, and but they had him hemmed up with little I guess felonies or something. So I'm like, man, you could just go here and do this, do that. You can go to Detroit. They got houses you can build. I got houses in Detroit. We can get them for $500. You can get them. You know, he's a master carpenter, but he couldn't go anywhere. He was scared to leave the state. And I
Look,
think when he left the state
this
one
is my
time,
whole saying. And I know that there's brothers and sisters who watch our videos who are homeless right now. They charge their phones through satellite. Through solar. Solar. And I want to encourage you. Really, I do. And I want to pray for you because I want you to realize it's a mindset. You got to get your mind right. If every day you meditate and you say positive things to yourself, like Super Mike said, get out of California. If you're going to be homeless, don't be homeless in California because they ain't going to help you. They're going to help all them other people first. They don't like dark-hued people. The police are out there and they are harassing these homeless people downtown LA. And they are using us as their pigeonhole to put their prisons, their privatized prisons, and keep them running. And if you don't think that you are being predated against, you got issues. Real deal financing. What's your thought?
Kind of situation like that, whoever that can be able to recover from that.
Brother, can you speak up a little louder?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's better.
Like I said, whoever that can be able to rebound from that, you got my ultimate respect. Definitely. That is real life pursuit of happiness right there. To be able to just have that type of perseverance. So I respect you when it comes to that. And you should always keep the mindset of never give up. It's never too late. Never quit. Never quit. So that's my opinion on that.
No, you're right on the money. If Aaron can do it, anybody can do it. If Aaron can do it, anybody can do it. And I think that's the mindset you're all gonna have to have. You have to realize there are people who are in your situation and they found a way out. But if you don't have the gumption to have a pattern change, that's where Aaron says, I know deal. He like you, Aaron. I love your excitement about this truck thing you want to get into and a new type of trade. Keep that momentum. Don't be discouraged. Don't look back. Look forward. Don't look down. Look up.
And don't doubt yourself. It's like, and don't beat yourself up for, a little failure. Just keep on, just keep on. Keep on. Everybody, you're not less than anyone. You're not less than anyone. Everybody's had issues, and there's things that that it's just like your experience. You're gonna have to level yourself up. Once you level yourself up, reach back. That's it.
Right, and you're reaching back now, just sharing your personal story, because a lot of people don't know your story. A lot of people may not understand, but there's somebody watching who say, I know somebody in that situation.
I appreciate that. It's nothing but the grace of God. I honestly can't say I did it all on my own, because if I had to rely on Aaron Collins' strength to do it, I probably would have dropped off the face of the earth or something. So I appreciate you, Shirley, for opening up your platform and for being in the company of Real Deal and Super Mike. This is very, like I said, this is therapeutic for me. This is very encouraging. We four black people talking the way we're talking right now. People expect us to be talking about bitches and hoes and getting high at the club and all that stuff, but we're talking about real stuff here.
Yeah, no, and it is real.
I'm about to get off because I gotta take care of something in the morning.
I appreciate that.
Like
I'm about to end this video. I just want those to realize that there are black people who are in cages. They just showed the black people in cages, and on this video you just saw the stream. What last words would you like to share, Mike, before we end the stream?
No, I just like I said, we just gotta understand, no matter what a situation looks like, our people ran through the at nighttime through swamps and mosquitoes and trying to escape, and then what I'm saying, we got away from stuff. To me, if Harriet Tubman and all of these black folks can walk from dang on Georgia to Michigan, from Georgia to Texas, we can make a move. If we need to make a move, we can make a move. There is, God has options out here for us. You find that spiritual system in yourself. It's in there. It's not all, about facts and figures and stuff. Pray. Say prayers. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. Say those prayers. Touch that spiritual side of yourself. That's where the power is. Stop. The politicians, they hate you. Don't worry about those people. The power's in you. Better your situation. You can do it. Positive. Keep yourself around listening to positive stuff. Listen to positive music. Just keep telling yourself you can. Tell yourself you're close to God. God loves you. All that. Get it done. You are worthy of having something better. So that's all I would say.
That was beautiful. How can they reach you, and what's your channel?
Oh yeah, that's Super Mike 2164 channel. Yeah, let's go there. You can do that. I got my little Black is Not a Color. They just banned me from Facebook for a minute, but yeah, I got that. Yeah, so I'm just doing that. Like I said, I'm trying to level up with the contractor's license right now. So doing the studying, and pretty soon we'll be trying to strategize on how to conquer the business here with the California electrician. And I'm, buying land right now in Georgia and Alabama. So we'll be doing sending my wife out there to get this house in Alabama, some real estate. So, just trying to level up. Like I said, we, steps at a time. But that's it. So yeah, if you want to keep track of Super Mike 2164, just go on YouTube, and you can go on Facebook. Michael Akiba, FARD Farad. Yep, you can catch me on there too. Instagram, Michael Akiba. All of that's good.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming on, Mike. I look forward to when I go live. Hopefully you'll come back again and we'll talk about another topic. But your insight and your input was a blessing, and it's not forgotten, and it's changing lives.
Okay.
So it's small things.
All right. Love you guys.
Mike, let's have a financial talk.
Yes, sir. I really do. I'm gonna be touching base with you definitely in a few days because of the moves I'm about to make. Peace.
So I just want to have a situation where I can be able to at least have something where you can get $30,000 in credit funding. When it comes to the situation of what I've managed to get credit vendors. So Shirley, it's definitely a beautiful thing that you got going here. Aaron, salute to you. If anybody needs to get in contact with me, if anybody wants to book a consultation with me, you have 24/7 access. creditbuilder475@gmail.com. That's creditbuilder475@gmail.com. You get
Please
my
put that in the
personal
chat
line.
room so people can have that link. Put that in the chat room before you go tonight.
Got you. So if anybody needs a situation where they just want to be able to talk, and the beautiful part about me is I do not gaffle you up for payment. You always can talk to me and always have a situation where you get your plan. A lot of times I'd be able to give people free game on the basis of strength of just helping. But I am a businessman, and I do want to be able to get people involved when it comes to certain lenders that do have it where if you have $20,000, you can get yourself a $350,000 property off of the loan. So it's a fix and flip loan. So you're pretty much on the basis of 90%, 95% LTV. in your construction loan 100%. And a lot of people profit on their construction loans by overestimating the budget of the repairs. So if it's 50, they say 75, they profit at closing. So that is my email, creditbuilder475@gmail.com. Miss Shirley, it's a pleasure. Aaron, respect to you. And I hope everybody has a nice and beautiful new year.
Thank you, real deal. Look forward to having you come back on.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right, brother.
Aaron, final word.
This is like I was saying before, Cheryl, I appreciate you allowing me come on your platform. It's been a while since I've seen you, and as soon as I saw you popped up, I hurried up and clicked on you. And my and Cheryl is speaking again. This has been a very good talk. We definitely need to put into action for 2022 some realistic goals and some realistic solutions, and just move forward. And I'm mainly speaking to myself too, because that's a practice I have, that when I speak to others, I'm speaking to me first,
Mm-hmm.
because I really feel like I need to really do it. But yeah, this is a great platform. I could mainly be reached on my channel, The Real Aaron Collins. Eventually, I'm going to start utilizing uh, the apps like TikTok, and it's a new app they just opened up called Fanbase, and it was founded by Isaac Hayes III. Check it out. It's where you can get paid for your content. So yeah, I'm going to start putting content on more platforms and stuff like that. But yeah, this has been a real good topic and conversation.
No, I appreciate this, Aaron, and I appreciate you coming on. Make sure you like and subscribe, you guys. It adds a lot of value. Aaron, how can the people reach out to you one more time before you end and I say my final goodbyes?
Okay, yeah. So you can reach me on my channel, The Real Aaron Collins. It's I haven't made content in a few months, but I'm gonna go back to making more content. I'm still going live again. So it's The Real Aaron Collins if you're on YouTube for right now, and eventually I'm gonna hit up TikTok also as well, and other platforms. But you can see stuff that I've got an entire library on YouTube as we speak.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I look forward to doing another video and having you guys back on because all you men were truly amazing.
All right, Shirley.
I'll talk to you soon, Aaron.
Bye.
And final word, I want to encourage you guys to remember, as I've said in the past, I'm going to say it again: food, water, and shelter. Make sure that you have your priorities straight. We're talking about God, family, and country, food, water, and shelter. We're living in a time of inflation. This is an administration that is going to have us go off the roof with gas, with food, and with shelter. Number one. Number two, go back to the beginning of this video. If you have not watched the beginning of this video, go back to the beginning. I gave you some headliners. I talked about having that right mindset, making sure that you're conscious and not lead your voice and your views from a point of disposition, watching people's energies. Don't let their energies transcend upon you. If they got issues, let them keep them damn issues. You don't need them issues. Learn to pray. Remember, as scripture said, through prayer and supplication, make your requests known unto God. That's that scripture I want you to keep in mind. That's Philippians. Um, that's Philippians 4:6. Look it up, Philippians 4:6, because it says through prayer and supplication. Let me show you this real quick, and I know it's late, but I really want to make sure you guys have that balance. If you don't have that balance, you're going to be off. You are going to be off. I'm telling you, you need that spiritual balance. Okay, and 4:8:6. Do not be anxious for nothing. You see that says right here? Do not be anxious for anything. That means that's where that anxiety comes up because you're so worried and frustrated. If it's your bills or whatever, don't be anxious for nothing. But in everything in your situation through prayer and petition. We've heard through prayer and supplication. I've heard through prayer and meditation with thanksgiving. Present your requests to God. Many of us do not present anything to God. All we do is complain and whine. Get out of that complaining, whining mindset. The goals this year is that you are going to have a person, you're going to be a person of not disposition, but you're going to make your petition through prayer and supplication and thanksgiving. Remember, the Bible says the joy of the Lord is your strength. And if you're not a joyful person and you're a person who have issues and attitude, you are not going to move forward. And those are the kind of people, when they're in your life, you need to pace yourself. Sometimes you work in an environment with these people. Sometimes they're family members and friends, and you can't brush them off that easy. I get it. So you put them on a timeout. You say to yourself, you know what? I only got about 5 minutes I can deal with your ass. So I have another appointment. Your appointment might be going to the bathroom. I'm being real. Your appointment might be you just need to step away because you don't need to continue to have those conversations that lead you on those dark roads. We've had 4 to 5 amazing people on this platform who gave you some amazing ideas. Go back, watch this video, get your notepad, and start taking notes and pick and choose what works for you. All of everything that we say may not work for you. It may be 1 or 2 things, but if you can cultivate and activate those ideologies into your life, you are planting good soil. I want to plant good soil, and I want to pray that God continues to give you clarity. Remember, you lay your head down in green pastures. If you don't have no green pastures near you, you go find a park tomorrow. Take your shoes off, and it's a magnetic energy between your body and the ground. And take your shoes and make sure your feet touch the soil, and take a moment of meditation and make that be your pasture. I don't care if it's that 2 feet of your own 2 feet touching real ground. How many times we're so busy we don't even let our feet touch real soil because we're so in motion of the survival mode. Let's connect to the earth. Let's connect to God. Let's have a kinetic experience. So this quarter of our life, it's starting to shift. It starts in quarters, right? So I'm talking about January, February, March. What can you do within this quarter to shift the beginning of the matrix? Because COVID is still going to be around. People are going to still be broke. Homeless people are real. Liberals are going to still be liberals. Conservatives are going to be conservatives. That's not your focus. Your focus is the ideology within your own mindset to move forward. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe, and I'll say a prayer in closing. Father God, I come before you right now in the name of Jesus, and I pray for anybody who is hurting and frustrated, people who don't have clarity. Let this year be a year of joy. Let us not linger in the past. Those who've lost loved ones in COVID, those who've lost loved ones in homelessness, miscommunication, or even just the COVID factor where it has opened everyone's eyes to their own personal situation. Lord, let them find restoration in truth and justice, and let that come from you. Let them continue to pray. Let them continue to seek. Let them continue to be open. And we just bind Satan power in the name of Jesus over anyone at the sound of my voice, that they will be able to receive and not be detrimented by the voice of disposition and the fear and pains of this world. But God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind, and that the joy of the Lord is our strength. In Jesus' name, amen. Remember, the joy of the Lord is your strength. When you find yourself pivoting into a dark space, say to yourself, the joy of the Lord is my strength. In Jesus' name. Say it with me now. The joy of the Lord is my strength. In Jesus' name. Make that your commitment to stay in a joyous position. And trust me, challenges are still going to come, but you're able to deal with them because you've now equipped yourself with knowledge to move you through those transitions. I love you guys. Please make comments after this video. Tell me what you think, what you like, what you didn't like. What ways can I better my videos? Do you want more videos from me? I need to know that, and that's within the comments section. Blessing to you. Hold your head up, walk straight, and keep moving forward. Talk to you soon. Good night.